Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Holy Flick Podcast. This is actually podcast number episode number 13 instead of 12 and a half like the last one where I just gave a quick 10-minute episode. This is a big one. Here joined by a special guest today, a founding father of Holy Flick, making a return to the pod, and Mr. Paul Patrick.
I feel like
Paul.
I feel like the guy that's been paying his dues at the country club and then shows up like 30 years later and just says, "What's up?"
Yeah, pretty much. You're just stopping by for a quick drink and give your thoughts on a couple things. He's actually here for a non-spoiler Project Hail Mary review because he got to see that last night early, which we'll get into later on in the podcast. And of course, we're always joined by our favorite co-host, my favorite co-host, Seth Scott.
Hello. I have not seen Project Hail Mary, so unfortunately I won't be joining.
Yeah, I haven't either. I'm just here to listen, to be just all ears for him. So yeah, 3-man pod, first time in I don't know how long that we've had a little group on here, more than two.
Yeah, feels good.
Feels good. Feels
a lot
like
of microphones.
A lot of mics, a lot of voices talking over each other. It's going to be like a Safdie Brothers film in here. But yeah, so what we have lined up for you guys today is a recap of the Oscars, which took place just a couple nights ago. Our thoughts on that, of course, giving out our random recommendations and doing our movie games in blind rankings and higher and lower. And today's draft versus each other will be the Rylan Gosling draft in honor of the new Project Hail Mary film and of him hosting the SNL recently, which was a pretty good episode. Always good when Rylan Gosling's on SNL. And then wrapping it up with Paul's thoughts on Project Hail Mary and my thoughts on the Dune 3 trailer. I'm the only one that's watched it so far. I couldn't hold myself.
I refuse.
I couldn't. I was like, oh my God, as soon as it came out. Anyways, I'll give some non-spoiler thoughts on that, and then I might get into some of my thoughts as a book reader and knowing what's looks like is going to happen in the movie. But yeah, so we'll start out with our Oscars recap. Finally happened after such a long award season, almost a year since like Sinners came out. We get the Oscars, and I'll start out real quick just saying the intro. I enjoyed the intro a lot with Conan doing the weapons and going through a lot of the best pictures.
There's a lot of little skits they did that I really enjoyed this year.
Yeah, I like how
the intro was nice.
I like how they highlighted some of the best picture nominees. Like when you came back from commercial break, they would like show like little tidbits of the film, shouting out each one of them. But yeah, the intro was good. I love the set itself. I'll say that as well. I thought it was really cool the way it was like morphing and changing and stuff like that. It was one
of the best they've had. Probably ever.
Alex Key as soon as it started, and I was like, I think that's the coolest set I've ever seen before of the Oscars. So I'd agree with that. Overall, I'll just say the show kind of moved a little bit slow, even though they were trying to move at rapid pace. It
seemed like the first hour was just bam, 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 bam. With some decent, like some of the bigger awards, and then it just totally died off.
I mean, starting out with a Best Supporting Actress going to Amy Madigan for Weapons, and that being the only nomination that movie had, and only
was a shock, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, starting out with an upset. Usually they start out with like a category that it seems like everybody knows how it's going to go.
Right.
But it felt like Tiana Taylor was hyped all the way up until last minute. A lot of things felt like they kind of changed last minute with things that were favored because Amy Madigan did come on strong in the odds.
Right. And I think it was much deserved.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. I mean, a lot of the decisions they made, I feel like that I may not agree with myself. I'm not really like necessarily upset with them. It's just more of like not what I think.
Right. There's really only one award that happened that I was actually mad about, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But it's not what you think either. I'm pretty sure.
No, maybe it's not. I think just moving down the list a little bit. They did remind us about the Oscars moving to YouTube here in a few years in 2029.
Yeah,
which is a real thing. Yeah, that I almost
thank
forgot
God,
about.
I missed that.
That
is a welcome change.
No weather interruptions.
Yeah, dude, that was insane. For our area, I don't know where you're meeting at us from on the podcast, but for the Tennessee area, we kept getting hit with weather updates, which they promised us we weren't missing the Oscars, and then they actually minimize the Oscars when the Best Picture gets announced and the outro happens.
Yeah, just nothing big there, just the biggest award of the night.
Yeah. We won't cut out any of the Best International Short Film, but we will cut out Best Picture,
which nobody watched.
For some reason. Yeah, for some reason they thought it was more important to tell us about a tornado that touched down in Montgomery County than letting us see Best Picture. But I don't know.
Reminding us every 5 minutes. They just had.
Unfortunately, I don't live in Montgomery County, so I could care less.
Their script for the weather report was the same over and over again too. She's like, "I promise we're not holding you from the Oscars. This is these areas that you are not in, but we're going to announce it anyway."
Well, here's another thing: if a tornado touched down, what am I going to do anyways?
Yeah,
pray.
Keep watching.
I'm just gonna keep watching the Oscars. I guess I get blown away. I get blown away.
Yeah, I had to go back and rewatch like the Best Picture and the ending of it because again they interrupted it. But yeah, that'll be the good part about having it on YouTube, except for all the ads that will pop up if you're not a premium member.
Get that premium, baby.
Yeah, so that's a big change that's coming. One of the big changes to this year's Oscars and one of the big things of the night was first ever Best Casting category. Which ended up going to One Battle After Another. I'm correct on that, right? That was a
really hard fought category, in my opinion.
Yeah, Sinners felt like the favorite up until the Oscars. I think I was saying I changed my vote last minute, but I was saying over and over again about One Battle because again they had so many nominations for their actors in the movie. I mean, you had 2 front runners for Best Supporting Actor,
which is crazy.
Leo wasn't a front runner for Best Actor, but he's still again nominated. Teyana Taylor was a front runner for Best Supporting Actress. So you would just think with all those people nominated and Chase Infinity almost being nominated right on the cusp, that would get Best Casting. I just don't like if you said Best Ensemble, to me that makes a little more sense than like Best Casting. I just don't know because you could cast one actor and then be perfect for that role, and is that good enough for Best Casting? It's really kind of confusing on the criteria. But yeah, it wasn't.
I don't think they had a criteria.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know, to be honest with you, but yeah, I wasn't mad at all about One Battle getting it. And also I thought Marty Supreme would have been worthy of an award like that too, considering they use like non-actors in the movie or people that had never acted before. So I thought they were a contender as well to me for the category. It was just so weird because like we said before, you just don't know what they're going off of. But yeah, that was a big change to the Oscars, and also a tie happened at this year's Oscars.
First time since 2012.
They said it happened 3 times, I think, in history or something, but like I don't remember a tie before, and just forgetting that's even possible.
2012 for Best Sound was a tie between Skyfall and Zero Dark 30.
Okay.
Sound editing.
I mean, could you imagine if that happened on like a major category like Best Actor or Best Picture? Like,
I feel like we're gonna have that happen in the next soon. I don't know. It just seems like that's something that I feel like could have happened this year, honestly.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel like if it was going to happen in big category, it really could have. Like Best Picture could have been a tie.
Yeah, they apparently.
The casting category also could have been a tie. I think
that would have been so funny. The first year ever, they call it a tie. Oh my gosh.
For Best Actor, apparently some of the Oscar voters have come out and said that it was a very hotly contested for that category.
Ethan Hawke, huh?
Yeah, Ethan Hawke. That was the runner-up. Although, I mean, dude did act like crazy in that movie. Acted circles around everybody else.
Yep.
But yeah, tie happened, and I think it was the best. Was it best short, right? Or best short? Best animated short, I think is what it was.
Animated short, yeah.
Best animated short. So that was a wild tie to happen, a wild thing to happen just for the Oscars in general. There was I thought a lot of like the messages people were giving out was good about a lot of the anti-AI stuff. that was being brought up on stage. A lot of the, with global turmoil right now sort of thing, they mentioned a lot about the global collaboration in projects. I know a few different people that won Oscars mentioned that, like, I forget who it was, but they were like, one of us from like Portugal and one's from the Middle East and one's from South America. Like, we're all from around the world and we all collaborated on this project. So a lot of that stuff I thought was like really cool. A lot of the acceptance speeches and stuff like that. I didn't really like some of like the they were cutting people off a few times, but then they would have like the bridesmaid segment.
Never stopped doing that.
The bridesmaid segment, which made absolutely no sense to me. On like, I get that a lot of those people were there that night anyway, but they went on and on with that, or even like the in memoriam, like. I always appreciate that, but then they were, Robert Redford getting like a huge spotlight, which is great. It was one of the moments of the night, but it just felt like they were doing, like, trying to juggle a lot of different things, like try to throw in a funny segment here and go into a serious segment there.
I thought they really think that we really want to hear about bridesmaids more than we want to hear these people that just won an award that they worked for their whole entire life.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
we don't want that. No offense. Bridesmaids a funny movie, a very funny movie.
Yeah, it just didn't need to go on for that long. They could have just come out and presented an award, or even some of like the banter, quote unquote, before like the presentation of awards. Like, I thought the banter between RDJ and Chris Evans was very awkward and just, again, prolonged. Like, let's just
everything about that was so weird.
I mean, it just seemed like a promo. I don't know. A lot of
seems
things.
Like Disney paid for that heavily.
Yeah, I would think so. And they cut down on the best original song with not doing all the musical performances. I think they only did Golden and I Lied to You were the only two. There may have been a third one, I can't remember, but it felt like they cut down that. And again, those were good moments, but it's like, again, when you're taking up more time for that and then cutting people off during their acceptance speeches, it's obviously like, you guys need to cut down on some of the other stuff that you call entertainment or trying to be entertaining. But yeah, I thought Conan did a good job hosting and everything. I love Conan, but it just was kind of a weird pacing with the awards. Sean Penn, let's talk about him real quick. Winning Best Supporting Actor and not even being there.
And not even being there. That just tells you everything. Like, I feel like he just assumed he wasn't winning.
Well,
or just he just was like, no, I'm not going.
I've seen stuff online. I have you never know if anything's true anymore.
Right.
But I saw apparently he had a meeting with the president of Ukraine at that time. Don't know if that's true or not.
What in the world?
I know that he's had
gotta give him some more money
with him in the past, but
I had seen President Zelensky had tweeted out essentially that I'd like to congratulate like Sean Penn on his Oscar and thank him for being here and that sort of thing. So it turns out he really was he really was not just somewhere else, but he was halfway around the world.
That's why I saw people saying.
Can you tell me why those two people were meeting? What possibly they could have been doing?
I don't know. I mean, he's met with Ben Stiller recently too, like Zelensky has, and a bunch of actor people. I know Sean Penn is just one of those people who doesn't care. I mean, he was at one of the award shows recently, like just lighting up a cigarette at his table. Like, you could just again tell that he's too old and doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, why would he?
And he's already had, I think this is his third Oscar now, I believe. So, yeah. I mean, it's just another one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, I could see also where he wasn't predicting, because I mean, even the markets, like early on, Stellan Skarsgård was the absolute favorite with the way that he was running the award shows. And then Benicio del Toro came up and became the favorite, and Sean Penn, it was like between all those three actors. But going to Sean Penn, I was so shocked because that was definitely my favorite performance of the year. But
yeah, that was
did I
his
expect
walk.
Yeah, dude, just the walk, just and his voice and everything, all his lines. I thought that was by far the best actor or performance of the year for me, in general, not even just for the best supporting actor category that I saw, but. I was just shocked that the Oscars actually did what I considered to be the right thing in that instance. Yeah, just wild to see him get that victory.
You may have I don't know if y'all had talked about like snubs before, but like I'm glad that you brought up best support, because I was looking, like when we were doing our picks Sunday night for the fantasy, like we did a fantasy league around the Oscar picks this year, which was actually really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. But within like best support, like I still think about, and this might be a hot take. This felt like my biggest snub, but like Jesse Plemons not getting a nod for Begonia. I think there's two
Massive
that I would take off from best support and placing Jesse Plemons in one of those.
I agree with him.
I'm still just kind of shocked that he
I would take out Jacob. Honestly, I don't think he did that big of a performance in Frankenstein to warrant that. To be honest with you,
I'll say I think Plemons' performance is definitely like award worthy. Maybe even to win and be a front runner for a category, but I would think that he would be best actor, not best supporting actor, is my only stipulation. Because I
think we did talk about that on one of the pods.
Yeah, I don't think he would cut it for best
be hard
supporting.
To categorize him as a support.
Yeah, I think he has too much screen time and is the main actor and driving force of that movie. But I would still be,
in that case, I would still say he deserved to be in there. Maybe I didn't see The Secret Agent. But
yeah, no, I don't know. Whatever category, I think he would deserve it. I would just think he would be more in a best actor category than best supporting. But whichever one he would have ended up in, agreed. I think he not only deserved to be nominated, but could have been a front runner for sure. Like that was one of the big snubs for sure. And we talked about Marty Supreme's score for me was a snub.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were some snubs. I feel
that was a tough one as well.
Yeah, I thought that was a shoe-in for me to be nominated for best score, maybe not to win. But yeah, there were a few snubs. I didn't feel like any major ones. I think some stuff that got included that, such as an F1 for best picture, that was really shocking.
Hey.
I mean, I hate how they went from
crazy here.
I hate how they went from like 5 to like 7 movies or something like that could be nominated for best picture to like 5 to 10, and now it's like, no, we have to do 10. It's like, no, you don't. You could just do 7.
I'll tell you what I don't like is if a foreign film is nominated for foreign film, why is it also in best picture?
Well, at that point too, I say that if there's ever a time where a foreign film is nominated for best picture and it doesn't win best international film, I will scratch my head till the end of my days.
Yeah, which we had that issue.
Did we?
Didn't we?
I don't think so.
Well, Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent were both nominated for Best Picture, so one of them had to lose Best Foreign.
Oh, I see what you mean on that end. Yeah, okay. I forgot that Secret Agent was nominated for Best International Film. That was supposed to be one of the hottest like contested categories of the night too, was Best International. I just figured it would be Sentimental Value with him, like the director being nominated.
Yeah, how many people got
being nominated, actors nominated.
Right.
It just seemed like it was the film that had to win for it. But yeah, I think Parasite did win for Best International. Does a 1917 count for? That was the same year.
1917, you said?
Yeah, that was a British film. I just don't know how they categorize that. Does it
I don't think they counted
from,
it though.
A non-English speaking country or something? I don't know how they categorize that. But yeah, I think so far all the foreign films that have like been nominated for Best Picture have won Best International Film. But it does make it weird when you nominate them for both.
Right.
And the No Other Choice snub this year was one that was brought up by a lot of people, that not being nominated, Park Chan-wook not being nominated, Chainsaw Man not being nominated for Best Animated Feature Film.
Or the Demon Slayer movie.
Or the Demon Slayer movie not being nominated for Best Feature, which I would think the next one probably will be. I feel like all it takes is like one anime film to really break in there. And then from then on out, they could, be nominated, or they could just do an anime category.
Animated films right now.
They could just do a Best Anime category. I mean, if they wanted to.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't, as popular as anime is now.
If they're introducing
mainstream
Best Stunts next year, I don't see why they couldn't go ahead and get something like that worked on too. But, yeah, Oscar award-winning film F1. That is a thing now.
Correct. Say it again.
I don't want to. It hurts.
Okay, that's fair enough.
That is a thing. F1 won more Oscars than Marty Supreme did, which is
that's wild.
When you say it like that,
shouldn't be the case, but it is what it is.
It's the way it worked out. It's just hard to believe, really. In a lot of ways.
Don't put all your stock in Oscars, folks. Yeah. Not all the time.
I do want to say this
certainly
too.
not.
with the way they scheduled the release of the Dune 3 film, it really does seem like it was like what people were saying, that they were kind of waiting out for the Oscars to see if they could add Academy Award winning Timothée Chalamet to the trailer. But
They should be able to, but
yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, we're about to get to that. Last thing before we move on to that, PTA and Coogler both won, which was awesome. PTA for director and
not a real surprise there on those two.
And, yeah, Coogler winning best original. That went like it was supposed to. I was just glad to see it go that way. I think Coogler had one of the best acceptance speeches of the night for sure, for me. But yeah, was glad to see both them get their Oscars. That was awesome. And then best actor, yeah, that did not go as expected for a long time. Timothy was sweeping up at the awards, and then after the SAG awards, I believe, is when the narrative had changed on Michael B. Jordan after he won at the SAG awards.
From Dusk Till Dawn too.
Yeah, from Dusk Till Dawn too.
I've seen a lot of that. Talk online.
Yeah, I feel like he won the movie. It was kind of like that. I mean, that's the best reference you could probably give it.
I mean, it is those movies are very similar.
Yeah, it's
if
just
you break
one
it down,
much better than the other, in my opinion.
Yeah, correct.
It has a lot more to it and better main actors as well. That
you can break it down to its core, and it's similar. But yeah, once you actually watch it as a whole,
you just say like a vampire movie that pops off at a random bar in the middle of nowhere.
About two brothers, but they're not twins.
Yeah,
there's a little difference.
Yeah, there's a little difference. And that was the thing to me when it came to Michael B. Jordan versus Timothée Chalamet. My vote would have been Timmy because, or if I've seen him called lately, Toyota Chevrolet.
Oh Jesus!
The reason I would vote for him,
probably easier to say. Okay,
yeah, that's what I'm gonna start calling him, is Toyota Chevrolet. Him versus like Leo or Michael B. Jordan, both those actors in their films felt like they were a little more in a supporting role. Like you could count him as a main actor, but like in Sinners, like Sammy is the main part of the film. He's again driving force of the film. Michael B. has a major part to play, and he's in a lot of it throughout, but. I guess you would just again consider him to be a main actor, but I felt like it was more of an ensemble in that film. The same thing could be said for One Battle After Another. For Marty Supreme, though, Timothée Chalamet takes up pretty much every frame, and again, driving force of the film. And I thought he overshadowed most of the performances that were around him. Arguably the best performance of his career. So I just felt like more that he. I don't know, like I said, best performance to me. And again, for how much of the movie that he had to carry versus the other actors. That would be the reasons for my vote. I'm not mad at the Michael B. Jordan vote by any means. I would think after them two, it would probably be Ethan Hawke, because going back to again for
Leo being the
film,
third choice was never in my brain.
Yeah, I think for the popular vote that was the narrative, but I do think Ethan Hawke would probably come either behind Timmy or behind Michael B. Jordan. He'd be like right there. Again, going back to carrying a whole film on his back like that and being in every frame and so many lines of dialogue and just he really did act circles around everybody around him. So yeah, but again, not mad at the Michael B. Jordan win in my opinion at all. I'm
not mad that he won. I'm mad that Timmy
lost. Yeah,
I'm fine with Michael Jordan.
Well, technically, Michael Jordan.
It's true. Michael Jordan. I guess he just tries to put the B in there because for reasons. He's phenomenal. I think he's just a likable guy too. So it's if he was like a prick or something, it'd be way easier for me to be mad. But he's not. So glad he won. But should have been Timmy. Actually, should have been Ethan if I'm being completely honest with myself. But that's not the award I was mad about that I was talking about though.
So is it what the last category I'm getting to is best picture? Is that what you're mad about?
No. It was best animated.
Oh, best.
I text you. It should have been Zootopia too. It shouldn't even been a discussion. They picked a movie based on the soundtrack, not anything else, which is a joke.
Yeah, soundtrack popularity, and I feel like they just had to give Netflix some wins, sort of thing.
Zootopia 2 story was just insanely better than K-pop Demon Hunters, for God's sakes. But that's the one that really ticked me off the most. Whatever. Yeah, we can go to Best Picture. No, I wasn't mad. Best Picture was a literal toss-up.
Yeah, I thought that. I mean, although, well, real quick, I want to say too, when it comes to the Best Animated Feature, going back to last year, real quick on snub is Wild Robot. I still can't believe that didn't win. So sometimes I don't feel like the best story is what gets it.
Yeah,
they gave it to a movie that it's 80% of the population didn't watch.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It just it was very experimental, but Wild Robot is like my favorite animated film I think I've ever seen before. Still,
they just greenlit a second one. I thought I saw.
Yeah, there's actually a book series on it, which I didn't know about till after I saw the movie. But there is a continuation of the story, so I will definitely be watching that. That's something my child will definitely watch over and over again one day when they're emotionally available for it.
This current year we're in will have a lot of big name.
Oh yeah, a lot of animated movies.
Looks like. Hoppers better be on it.
But yeah, as soon as you just mentioned about snubs, I was like, I was just reminded. Yeah, Wild Robot got snubbed too last year. No, for Best Picture, One Battle After Another. I assumed that it would go that way, and I don't think as much as again Sinners was nominated, I didn't really think that it would win for Best Picture over One Battle. And I didn't think Marty Supreme really had a shot. It felt like it was really between those two films. I think a lot of the Best Picture nominees are really good, but it just seemed like it was between One Battle or Sinners. Like if it wouldn't have gone to either one of those two, I would have been very shocked for myself. But yeah, one battle wins.
Yeah, One Battle wins. Not a huge surprise, but I wouldn't have been mad if it went a couple other ways.
Yeah, I feel like this was one of the weaker years for like just the best picture as a category overall compared to, especially compared to some of the past years. But Sinners in One Battle After Another, it seems like it was a pretty much consensus that it was between those two. It felt like throughout the year, because like when I saw Sinners, obviously it was so early in the season, it was like, oh well, this is this is the best picture frontrunner.
First movie I've seen.
This is the first movie I've seen. Just like another movie we'll talk about later. But and then I'd seen One Battle After Another, and I was like, oh no, this is it. And ever since I had seen it, I just haven't deviated from it. I even watched it again when it came out on digital. Wanted to get back in the theater to watch it again because I do think it's a great theater experience as well. Paul Thomas Anderson does like a really good job.
A great theater experience.
Most things I would agree are pretty good theater experiences. It's just like some really stand up above a notch, whenever you see it in like an auditorium with other people. But as soon as I'd seen One Battle After Another, I was like, nah, this is it. So had Sinners taken it though, like I wouldn't have any less feeling like, oh, it shouldn't have. No, I think both were pretty equally, deserving of taking that home. So I was quite okay with that. Oh, and then like a housekeeping note, I did look up what we were talking about earlier with like international feature films must predominantly be non-English in dialogue, so greater than 50%.
Well, Inglourious Basterds could have been nominated then.
That's probably close to true. Yeah.
No, I think that is true. I think it's like 70% of that film's in like French or German or something, or both.
Loving hilarious.
And it also, I guess, just this makes it even a little more sense. It was titled Best Foreign Language Film in 2019. Whenever they changed it to Best International Feature Film, so. Gotcha. Foreign language was the actual like delineation like for those movies prior to 2019 and before. So there you go. That gives you a little more clarity.
I remember that now that you say it. I want to say
before we get off Best Picture, Frankenstein shouldn't have been in there. That's all I'm saying.
I think it was one of the weaker ones of them. That and
I would rather seen Blue Moon.
F1. Yeah, I would have rather seen Blue.
Whoa, let's not get on the F1 train here.
I don't think F1.
Get off of that. Let's get off the F1 hate.
I'll say this though. One thing that Paul said before that I disagree about is I think that the Best Picture nominees for this year were stronger overall than last year, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying it's one of the strongest ever by any means, but comparing it to last year, I do think it was stronger overall. But yeah, I mean, because I still haven't seen Hamnet yet, but I haven't heard a single bad thing about that film at all.
Great film.
Begonia,
Shout out Jesse Buckley.
I'm not the biggest fan of, but originality and stuff like that, people were really in love with that as well. Like that was a huge film release. I mean, Marty Supreme, Sinners, One Battle After Another, and a movie I'll say too, and last thing I really have to say about the Oscars that got the biggest snub overall, I think, that was nominated for Best Picture was Train Dreams. It didn't even Sinners upset for cinematography over One Battle After Another, and I know One Battle After Another was the favorite, but again, if it was me voting, I probably would have ended up giving it to Train Dreams, and I would think if it didn't go to One Battle, then Train Dreams would have came second for cinematography. So the fact that Sinners ended up winning for that was probably one of the ones that I was most shocked by and not really in agreement. I mean, again, Sinners cinematography is incredible. Like that probably would have been my number 2 or 3, but I do think just by the look of a film, the cinematography and the lighting captured, I think Train Dreams was, to me, the best overall and just got almost no love. Like everybody want to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters for Netflix. I think Train Dreams was the thing to talk about and didn't get a whole lot of shine. But yeah,
I did love the use of, especially like natural light in Train Dreams. It feels like the biggest like proponent of natural light since like The Revenant, really, because like that movie was shot entirely in natural light. Train Dreams definitely follows suit to that. And like when I said earlier, like I felt like it was a weaker category as compared to the other years. I don't necessarily mean like the films themselves are weaker. I just mean more so mean like the competition amongst them. The competition, but it felt like almost the entire season. Like you watch Sinners, and there was a pretty widely accepted view that like, oh yeah, Sinners was the best, and then One Battle After Another came out, and then that's when the toss-up sort of began. But like the actual Best Picture like nominations themselves, I enjoyed all of them.
I'm glad.
The only one I didn't watch was Secret Agent in Sentimental Value.
I'm glad they actually gave it to a film that we can all kind of agree upon and shake our heads, rather than like the Anora poll last year.
Let's not even get on that.
I'm just saying, just for them to actually give it to a film that we're like, yeah, that's what we expected. I feel like that's kind of a return to normalcy after that.
Right.
Whole incident. But yeah, there was something too, I was trying to remember on the outro of the Oscars. Oh yeah, the host for life thing that goes into the One Battle reference. That was hilarious.
That was funny. That was so good.
I loved that. But yeah, unless there's
shout out Jesse Buckley.
Anything and thanks for everybody for I need to say that too, thanks to everybody that participated in our Oscars pool for the ballot challenge. That was a lot of fun. I think we ended up having like 16 or 17 people in there, so
yeah, it was a pretty good amount.
It was.
So that was a good time. I usually fill them out myself, and we usually keep it among a group of 2 or 3, but I thought opening it up to the public was a lot of fun, even though my performance was horrific. Probably one of my worst years ever, but still, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, unless there's anything.
Did either of you enter like the like national pool that like they were running on the fantasy, the ESPN fantasy app, or like in like everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was check it out much, but
no. There was a huge tie for first place. Like the best ratio was like 22-2, so which is out of the 24, which is damn good. But I was curious if anybody would go. Nobody went perfect, so
I'm perfect.
One thing I also I was re-looking through the list. Did you see like the awards won by distributor?
Oh, you're talking about like which studios got nominated the most?
Studio.
Or yeah, which ones won the most awards? I thought was actually kind of interesting.
Warner
Brothers being number 1 with 11. Yeah. Do you know who number 2 is?
Was it
I
Apple?
have to think Netflix maybe, or I don't know.
It was Netflix with 7.
Okay, because I knew they had the 2 Frankenstein wins, or 3 Frankenstein wins, I think, and then
K-pop
Golden
1, 2,
and and then K-pop won, another
So
one for
it's
best
5.
animated, and then I don't know what else they won for.
Yeah, One Battle won 6 on its own. So
yeah, One Battle was that it felt like just between that and Sinners were going back and forth, and I feel like that's again how it was going to go and how it should have gone for most of those. I don't really again have any qualms with many of the picks aside from again like cinematography for me and certain stuff like I would have gone another way, but again I don't think it was like wrong for their choices by any means. Like Amy Madigan, going back to that again on the first one, like I can't be mad at her winning Best Supporting Actress. She did a phenomenal job.
Right.
But yeah. Any other thoughts on the Oscars before we move on to our games?
I enjoyed this year and looking forward to next year. Actually, I think next year's nominations started for me last night.
Oh, that's high praise. High praise.
Well, maybe it's always so hard to say like this early in the cycle, but it wouldn't shock me, especially
this time next year you'll be like, remember when I said?
I mean, it's one of the front runners. It's one of the front runners already if you check odds. So.
Yeah, and then also knowing what's coming down the pipe this year, especially for some of the bigger releases, it's always harder to know about like single A films or like indie films, like because they typically gravitate a lot of the nominations too. But the Oscars this year was overall very enjoyable. So I was glad for it, and I'm also glad that they're going to YouTube because another debacle. This is like the total side note, but like trying to find where to watch the Oscars was quite infuriating because at first like we have an antenna here so like we can pick up like all the locals and whatnot, but the storm was so bad that like there wasn't like a clear signal for it. So then it's like, all right, let's get on the app and watch it, and then that turned into a tailspin. Eventually we did get to where we needed to go, but just knowing that from now, or at least in 2029, it'll just be on YouTube, I'm like, oh, that's like a prayer answered. Yeah,
that will be nice. Very convenient. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all in the Oscars for this year. Again, thank you for everybody that participated in the challenge and checked out the Oscars. Moving on to the random recommendation section. Each giving out 3 random recommendations, whether they be movies or TV shows. Seth, do you want to start us off with your list?
I'll let Paul Evan go first.
Oh, okay. Our special guest.
Yeah, let him go first.
It's an honor. This was one I'd seen recently, and Seth actually recommended it to me, and so both me and the missus actually ended up going. Was Hoppers, Pixar's latest release in the animated world, and it's more of Pixar doing Pixar things. I think it's one of those animated movies that's also really good amongst a good age range of audiences. Like I think you can be older and enjoy this and it, and not feel too childlike. And then you can also be younger and really, I just think it appeals to so many different age ranges that it's a solid recommend. It's got really good humor. There was one scene in particular with let's say with the High Council that I audibly laughed quite loud, and as did Amanda. So it was really a great theater experience as well. The story's interesting. The story's almost like my favorite Pixar movie of all time is Bug's Life, and the story does actually kind of follow Bug's Life in a little bit of the same light, in that like there's this sort of existential threat coming for us, and like what can we do about it. And the journey's really like them learning that we'll go farther together if we kind of band together than versus trying to do this on our own. But it's one that's just a good sub 2 hour theater experience. Great dialogue, great animation, good comedy. I mean it's pretty clean, and it's got a couple punchlines in there for the adults, and so I can't recommend it enough. I was quite surprised with it. So Hoppers would be my recommendation this week, and it's still in theater. So if you want to go watch it in the theater, you certainly can. And Disney keeps their movies on theatrical runs for what seems like half of the year, so it'll probably be there for a while. If you want to wait and go on a discount ticket day or something, so Hoppers Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Hoppers would definitely be my recommendation, and I guess that'll probably carry them in. If I had to guess, that would Hoppers will probably carry into Toy Story 5, their next big release. So I could very well see it being around until, I think, is June 5th the release date for Toy Story, I believe.
I think so, sometime in June.
Okay,
seems like that's when all the animated movies start to pop out, is like right when school gets out. So
it's June 19th.
It makes a lot of sense.
June 19th.
June 19th.
June 19th, yeah. So I could see its theatrical run being at least until then. So check it out, most definitely. Even if you don't really like animated movies, I think you can get some really good laughs out of it.
I think you'll enjoy it a lot. I'm glad you liked it. I loved it.
And I'll pass the baton to whoever's next.
I'll go next. I'm gonna go on. I'll reel off a couple that I watched in the last couple weeks. First, we'll go with the two Netflix recommendations. First one being Iron Claw.
It's a good one.
Extremely heavy movie. If you're an emotional type, you will get very emotional in this movie. It's pretty much all sad. There's very little happiness in this movie. Based on a true story. Starring Zac Efron, who is in a wrestling family, or wrestling, however you want to call it, professional wrestling, in the 70s and 80s and 90s up until current time. Tons of tragedy, family tragedy, a lot of loss. It's just extremely heavy movie, but a movie that didn't get talked about enough when it came out. Paul and I actually went to see this movie back whenever it came out. It is streaming on Netflix, starring Zac Efron and a pretty big cast. Besides him, let me see. There's a few.
Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, that was the big one. The big other one, I guess.
The father. Trying to remember his name. It's something
from Mindhunters.
Is it Colton Hardin?
It is Holt McCallany.
Okay, close enough.
McCallany, yeah, same thing. So yeah, that's the first one I got. Also has Lily James in it. Didn't know that. On Netflix, extremely heavy watch. Watch at your own peril there.
I was gonna say, yeah, get ready for an
emotional
roller coaster.
If you're looking for something happy, that's not it. So if you're in a bad mood, maybe don't turn that one on.
If you're looking for the opposite of a feel-good movie, this is your movie. Yeah,
if you're wanting to just be sad, just...
If you're really wanting to drain your serotonin, watch The Iron Claw. There is no redeeming light in that film whatsoever.
The very end scene is kind of redeeming.
It's very sad, but it is redeeming. I'd agree with that. There's light in that scene.
There is a very short scene. Very short. That you're like, okay, all terrible.
The one line we all know that we're repeating in our heads. That's the line.
Yeah.
If you can make it that far.
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking
that's
about
true.
overall,
that's
there
true.
is an optimism.
Yeah.
If you can drag your heart through a field of razor blades for 2 hours and make it to that ending scene, sure. However, it is quite the ask to end on that note with everything that preceded it. But the performances I would also say are very worth. Jeremy Allen White and Zac Efron both. I've really enjoyed them in both of those.
Going back
attempts.
to Oscar snubs, Zac Efron not getting nominated was an Oscar snub.
A joke. That movie just overlooked completely because it was about wrestling. Guaranteed. Moving on to my second rec. Go ahead, Paul. What was you going to say?
Oh, my bad. No, go ahead. I didn't know we were actually doing all three. I thought we were kind of doing like one at a time, but do your thing.
No, I'll just read off my last two real quick, and then y'all can move. The second one's on Netflix as well. The Sting, one of the best movies ever.
Oh yeah, you talked about that.
Robert Redford, Paul Newman. I think it won like 6, 7 Oscars, something crazy like that.
Yeah, those are two heavyweights right there.
Yeah, it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Writing, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction Set, Best Costume, Best Film Editing, and Best Music.
Wow.
And
wow.
Redford was also nominated for Best Actor in a Lead Role. And it also was nominated for something else. Anyways, but that's crazy. You won't see that happen anymore. Like, that was definitely a 70s type run. Anyway, Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Robert Shaw, who's also a bigger name there. It's an older movie, but man, it's so good. 1930 Chicago, a rookie grifter and a veteran con artist plan to fleece a homicidal racketeer through a phony racetrack scam. It's amazing. It's awesome. Paul Newman is awesome. He's kind of like the mentor to Robert Redford, teaching him how to pull off a big con, and it's awesome. Can't recommend it enough.
You said that was on Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, Netflix. Okay, getting some of the older catalog in there. I like that.
Yeah, that should be a movie everyone watches in their lifetime. It really should. It's just a fact. With those two names alone, like, good lord.
Yeah, especially
winning like 7 Oscars. Yeah. Good lord. It's awesome.
Redford was big in his heyday.
So was Paul Newman.
Yeah, I say Paul. And Newman
so was Paul Newman.
Two heavyweights.
Robert Shaw is like the antagonist, the villain, I guess you could say, who does a really good job in that as well. He was in Jaws. Played Quint in Jaws. Totally different character in this movie, but and then I think my other random rec is just the show I'm watching, DTF St. Louis with Jason Bateman and David Harbour. It's really funny. Really
HBO
funny.
Max,
It's
right?
Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah.
It's third episode just came out Sunday night. Drops on Sundays. It's definitely NSFW, but it's odd, but it is funny. I'm interested to see where they're going with the story. That's all I'll say about that. And yeah, HBO Max, 3 episodes in. I don't know how many they're going to have. Maybe probably 6 to 8 if I had to take a guess. And yeah, there's other names in the show. I just can't think of them at this moment. But yeah, HBO Max, DTF St. Louis, the name.
I was curious about that. Bateman's got a really how could you put it? His taste in humor is not for everyone, but for those that like it, he does really well at it. We've recently swapped to the ad version of HBO Max because it's getting absolutely stupid expensive. But so we're constantly blasted with the spring and the fall and the summer lineups of whatever HBO's got coming out and then whatever they're promoting. And so this was one of the ones that we had seen promos for, just time in and time out. So I was curious as to how it was actually going to translate, because the premise seemed kind of interesting, but I wasn't fully sold on it. But so I was I don't know, maybe I'll wait for it to all to come out before I dig in.
3 episodes in, you can kind of tell that it was advertised, I guess, falsely in what it is, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. And I don't know if that's completely true yet, because we're only 3 episodes in, because they can also twist and turn at any time. But HBO just bangers. That's all they do. So that's my 3 recs. So I got The Sting on Netflix. DTF St. Louis on HBO, and then The Iron Claw also on Netflix streaming. Recently added, so it should be on there for a while. And Paul or Cannon, take over.
Paul, you can go ahead and finish up with your other 2 if you want to.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. The other two, this next one is on Paramount Plus. Where you can find it. It might be on other streaming services, but that is where I watched it. Was Roofman, starring Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst. It's a story that's actually based on a true story, essentially about like a con man and his attempt to get away from his crimes and try to live out a better life. Because within his crimes, he was honestly just trying to make a better life for his family. However, that you kind of learn that the means doesn't necessarily justify that. But it's a really small story, and I did look this up. Like that, it was interesting to like go back and watch some of the interviews with the people that knew this guy and talked about just like how likable he was. Is not in just like a general sense of how he treated others around him, and like he was kind of famous for like one of his thing was like he was an armed robber, and what he would do is like he would essentially like rob McDonald's stores whenever they would go to do their cash drops, because back in the day, before we had cards for everything and tapping to pay, like it was just primarily cash. So his whole shtick was like, oh, I'm gonna break in whenever they get the cash out of the safe and then just take the cash and just kind of like go on about my business. But like when he was in these crimes, he would constantly like apologize to those that were like in there with him and like try to make them feel comfortable and tell them like, hey, don't worry about it. Like I'll call the cops after I'm out of here. Like you'll be fine. I'm not here for you. And he's also like a veteran, which was another leg of the story that really makes you think. That will really make you like kind of think about like just that and how we treat our service members. So it's very funny. It's heartwarming in a lot of regards. It doesn't have the greatest ending, but it is overall just a fun movie. Slightly long in the tooth, but not too long to where I would say like just kind of turn yourself away from it. And like Channing Tatum he does so well in this role. He plays like a very likable con man, which I find really refreshing. Kirsten Dunst, I haven't seen her in a lot over the last 10 years. It was cool to see her, back in the Scream. She plays a mom to two daughters who Channing Tatum's character gets kind of tied up with, not necessarily within the crimes themselves, but when he tries to start a new life, he starts it with Kirsten Dunst because he meets her and she becomes like a romantic partner of his. And it's just a really nice story overall. And to anything that's kind of like based on a true story is always a little more interesting to me. And then speaking of things that aren't based on a true story, the other one was on Netflix. It's a miniseries. It's called 11/22/63.
Nice.
It is about the assassination of JFK. It's based off a novel by Stephen King.
I just have to say real quick, this is hilarious because I think both of these are random recommendations that Seth has given out before.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah, well, I know you at least reviewed Roofman. I know that.
Yeah, I think I just reviewed Roofman.
63. I couldn't remember if you recommended it.
I think I just reviewed. Not,
yeah, but I just thought it was funny. Anyway,
I do agree. Roofman is a really good movie. It is long, but I did like it. But yeah, I did recommend 11/22/63 as you should because it's phenomenal. Carry on.
Yeah, I've even like since. I haven't read it yet because I've got a lot on the reading list. I'm pretty sure I'm going to owe Seth some late fees on books here quite soon, so I better get my Venmo ready.
And I charge more than the library too.
I would imagine you're a man that also charges interest, so I need to get back on it. But if you like anything with a historical context, or if you like something like alternative history, like The Man in the High Castle is something that comes to mind. This is definitely for you. It's a mini series. It's 8 episodes long. It's not too much of a time commitment. Some pretty good performances. Like, I'm kind of James Franco in this role. I'm like, at times I really enjoy what he's doing. Then at times I'm like, you kind of come off as like you're acting. So I don't know. Franco, he's all right. Now his love interest in the show, I cannot remember her name. I've seen her in one other thing. Sarah Gadon, I believe. Yeah, that's her name, Sarah Gadon. She plays a love interest because the whole premise of the show is essentially James Franco is granted the ability to time travel, but he can only time travel back to 1960. And the person that gives him this power is a guy played by Chris Cooper, who essentially has been going back to this period in time ever since he's had the ability to do it, to try to change the outcome of the JFK assassination. And, you know, within that, like, Chris Cooper's character, like, kind of lets him know, is like, hey, you know, remember, you're here for a job. You're not here to find love. You're not here to make money. You're not here to start a new life. You're here to just prevent JFK from dying. But once Franco gets in there and gets deep, he really struggles with that because he sees the world differently, because he's coming from what modern day at the time is, which is 2016, when this came out, and finding that he'd actually rather just kind of stay in this 1960s world that he's, you know, come to discover. There's a guy that plays Lee Harvey Oswald, who I also really enjoyed his performance. I didn't really know a lot about Harvey Oswald, like, you know, as he actually is, but he does play a very conflicted character, a guy that you can sometimes sympathize with and sometimes don't really know his motives, and maybe he is the guy that killed JFK. I think the series does a good job with that, but it is fun. I did enjoy the ending. I do have the book now. I ended up picking it up. Nice. It's quite a thick read.
It's about 1,000 pages.
I actually ended up getting a hardback for like $12 on eBay, so I was pretty happy about that.
There you go.
But yeah, those two, Roofman on Paramount Plus, 11/22/63 on Netflix, and then Hoppers, my first one, which is in the theater. So those are my 3 recommendations.
Nice.
All right. My 3 random recommendations. One that I feel like I should have recommended a long time ago. I feel like it's one of the more underrated films of the last few years, especially as far as blockbusters go. But Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Severely talked about, underrepresented, phenomenal movie overall, very entertaining, good for like the whole family sort of thing. Great special effects and humor, and it's one of those things, if you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, it does not matter at all. You don't need any preconceived notions about the movie or any information. Just a lot of fun of a movie. Chris Pine plays the main actor in the film. Great cast in there, great just story overall, entertaining. It's on Paramount Plus for free, and then it's also available to rent just for $3.99. I'd say that's well worth the price of checking that movie out, especially, like I said, it's a good watch, I think, as far as just by yourself or as a date night or with the family, whatever. I have to highly recommend that movie and say it again, it does not get enough love, and I've never heard somebody watch it and not like it. Number 2, I'm going to say Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, another film. It's one of my favorites.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I love the reaction. Just shows that you should definitely check it out. One of my favorite films of all time. It's my number 1 film when the subject of romance really comes up in films. It's my favorite on that subject. The most heartfelt and real and all that stuff. Jim Carrey plays the main actor in it. It's got also a great ensemble cast. Actually, Kirsten Dunst is also in that film as well. And then Elijah Wood and Kate Winslet plays the second lead with Jim Carrey, the love interest. Mark Ruffalo's in the film, which I forget about half the time. Tom Wilkinson's an older actor, always does a really good job. But it's one of the highest rated films of all time. I know it's in the top 100. Again, one of my 10 out of 10 films. Very weird with the way that the transitions from scene to scene, or just the pacing of the film can throw people off, I think. But once you get settled in, it's phenomenal. A movie I cry to, I think, just about every time I've ever seen it. And it's just like I said, whether it's sad tears or just like it's just so real when it comes to love and relationships. Love that film so much. It's also it's streaming actually on 2 different platforms.
Dang, you say it often.
Hulu and Peacock, which is very random.
It's wild.
It's on Peacock for the next 2 weeks. It's not showing an end date on Hulu, but it does get taken off of Peacock in the next 2 weeks. So if you have Peacock and don't have Hulu, check it out here soon. And but if you do have Hulu, you should be able to check it out for a while. Also available for rent for $3.99, and also a film that is well worth the price of rent for me, or even purchase. Or these last two films. Yeah, I was going to say you should own Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind in my mind, and I think buying Dungeons and Dragons is not a bad idea either. Honor Among Thieves, again, not a different Dungeons and Dragons films.
There's a one from 2000, I'm pretty sure, or 2001.
Yeah, it's not the one we're
just
talking
called
about.
Dungeons and Dragons. Please don't watch
from
that.
2022 or 2023. But yeah, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, again, one of my all-time favorites. Anytime Jim Carrey comes up in conversation, I think it's his best acted film, his best performance.
Even over 23?
Yes, over 23. I thought you were going to say something else like Truman Show or something. Yeah, you could say that too. I would think Truman Show would probably be his other great dramatic performance. But I don't think a lot of people even know about this movie. I think people just hear the name of it and they're just like, I don't know what that means or what that is, so I'm just not going to check it out. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a mouthful. Yeah, it's the name still doesn't make the most sense to me, but it's kind of artistic in itself. But yeah, 100% would check that film out. One of those films you have to watch in your lifetime. And then
100%.
I struggled on the last. I had a 3 and a 4 on what to do here, but I think I'm going to go with politically heavy documentary film. It's on Netflix. Is Get Me Roger Stone. It's one of my favorite documentaries. I've watched it a few times. It came out on Netflix back in 2017, I think. But Roger Stone is of Black Manafort and Stone, is one of the founding fathers of lobbying in America, and a close confidant of Trump, was his political advisor at one time in the 2016 election. But Roger Stone is a very interesting figure. He is very open in the documentary when he is being interviewed, as open as a systematic sociopathic liar can be, but a lot of his thinkings on life and politics and things like that are pretty fascinating. One of my favorite things that the movie starts out with is Roger Stone talking about an election, a high school election that he rigged. They were doing a mock election for Kennedy versus Nixon, and everybody was leaning towards, I believe it was Nixon, and then he told all the students before they were doing the mock election that Nixon had proposed adding school on Saturdays, and then the mock election flipped to Kennedy. And he said that was the first time that he ever practiced lying and manipulation, and that he had never practiced it again since, with a smile on his face. But yeah, you just get like a look inside of the mind of Roger Stone, and the way, again, that he views politics in a very Machiavellian way. It's very fascinating to me, terrible, but also a great film. But yeah, it's a documentary on Netflix. I think it's under 2 hours long. It's a really, really good watch if you are into documentaries or politics at all, or the current state of affairs and the way that politics are run nowadays. It's a very, very insightful film. Get Me Roger Stone. And that's my 3. I'll save the other one for another episode, because
there you go. You have one already in the bag.
Yeah. But again, Get Me Roger Stone on Netflix, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind on Hulu and on Peacock for the next 2 weeks, rent for $3.99, and then Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, Paramount Plus. I had a lot of wordy titles here. I guess that was the theme of today. A lot of long names. Okay. So moving on to our next section, on to the real movie games here. We are going to do blind rankings. And since we have 3, makes it a little more complicated, but I think we're going to do it where, Paul, you will ask me to rank 5 films. Seth, I will ask you to rank 5 films I have set aside, and then Seth will ask Paul, if that makes any sense. So Paul, if you want to start out, I can be the answer or whatever, the contestant.
Do you want me to lay off 5 on your lap at one time, or do you want me to piecemeal these out?
Yeah, you do one at a time, and I rank them 1 through 5 on each one without knowing what the next one is. Okay. Yeah. So,
well, I am here to talk about Project Hail Mary, so I went with Space Odyssey, themed movies, or cosmic journeys, I guess you could say. So we've got 5 in total, and a lot of these are some of my favorite movies, like, period. So if you want to get me in a seat in the theater, do a space odyssey or like cosmic exploration film, because I will show up. I don't care who's in it. I don't care who directed it. I don't care who wrote it. I will show up. So with that being said, I've got 5 here. Some of these are my favorite films of all times, and we'll start with The Martian.
I do love The Martian, but I feel like you're going to have a lot of big studs in this category.
I know there's probably one I'd be holding out on.
This is a heavyweight class of films, but The Martian, directed by Ridley Scott, and actually wrote by Drew Goddard, and based off the novel from Andy Weir, which also wrote the Project Hail Mary novel as well. And then Drew Goddard did the screenplay for Project Hail Mary. So different director here. You get Ridley Scott in what I think is probably his last best film that he's made personally. Got Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, Jeff Daniels, great cast.
I'm going to go,
The Martian.
I was thinking going 3 to have it right in the dead center, but I'm going to go 4 on The Martian.
I feel like there's one you got to be holding out for here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few I'm kind of holding out for. I may regret not putting it at 3, but I'll put it at 4.
Okay. The Martian at 4. All right. The next one is sort of the titan of this category. It is made by a legendary director in Stanley Kubrick, and inspired one of my favorite directors in Denis Villeneuve in his journey as a director, but it is 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm going to go number 2 on this one. Number 2.
2? All right.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's the first great of this genre, I would say. And I'd say it inspired many, many, many filmmakers and other movies. And Kubrick is arguably number 1. I'm reading a book actually on him right now. But yeah, I think I still have to hold out for what I think would be the top choice if you have it on here. So I'll go 2.
Okay, so we've got Space Odyssey at 2, The Martian at 4, which will lead us into our third film, which, with your ranking so far, I might guess where you will put this one. This film came out in 2019. It was kind of under the radar. It is a low and slow burn.
I know what you're
It stars Brad Pitt. I've really enjoyed this film. It is so slow, though. It's so hard to recommend. But if you can get through it, I did really enjoy the journey. And that is Ad Astra.
Tommy Lee Jones, baby. Yeah, that is a good one. I think it's definitely underrated of a film. That being said, with the way that my list is currently set out, I think I'll have to throw it at 5, actually.
I kind of wanted to do that one last just to see, just to cause drama.
Yeah, I mean, you could have done that. I wouldn't have been necessarily mad because I do really, really like that. I mean, all 3 of these films so far, I love them each. But yeah, Ad Astra is an underrated film, especially to have Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones in it and involve space. But it's not your normal type of space film either.
No, it is not. It is actually one of my favorite theater experiences. When I think about like theater experiences over the years, it's definitely towards the top of the list. Just like visually, it's so impactful, and I like the message too of what Brad Pitt's character is trying to do and what he's trying to recover. All right, so we've got Ad Astra at 5, The Martian at 4, Space Odyssey at 2. Next one is my favorite Space Odyssey film, or space exploration, or cosmic epic that I've ever watched. It's also my favorite Christopher Nolan film, and that is the 2014 Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway hit Interstellar.
Let's go ahead and throw that at number 1.
Yeah.
I was waiting on that. If that wasn't on the list, I was going to be screwed, but
I considered not putting it on the list because there's a couple more I was thinking about throwing in here. I was like, you can't talk about this category and not talk about Interstellar. I've actually only seen Interstellar 3 times, and they've all been in cinema. Because it's just so hard for me to watch that movie outside of a theater. That is my favorite theater experience of all time. It's just so phenomenal on so many levels.
Timothy Chalamet's favorite movie he's been in.
Who's Chalamet's?
Yeah, it's Chalamet's favorite movie he's been in. That's what he said.
I had seen him recently talking about it. Yeah, man. If you've never seen Interstellar, I would say watch it as soon as you can. But also just like go to the movies if they ever re-release it again. They did last year, and it was very successful.
Like the definition of a generational film, I think.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's also kind of crazy. Like, side note, like I'd seen recently Nolan was talking about, like, he's found it very endearing that, like, people don't really know him for The Dark Knight anymore. He says now the only thing people want to talk to me about is Interstellar. So I think that just kind of goes to show, like, how much that film has grown, especially since it's come out. Because that movie came out in 2014. Like, I mean, it's 12 years old at this point. All right, last. This is the most acclaimed film in this category. It won 7 Oscars back in 2013, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney, and is called Gravity.
That would have probably been at last for me.
That
Did you say
been
the
brutal.
most acclaimed space film ever? Is that what you said?
It is the most award-winning film of these 5 that I've listed. It won 7 Oscars.
I think I need to end the pod early. I mean, it's time for bed.
I don't know if you knew this. It actually blew my mind too. Like, I knew it had. I knew it did pretty well in its Oscar season.
For
I didn't know it did that well.
I remember that was like, no pun intended, but it was considered out of this world. But I don't know. For it to win the most, you're talking about like over like Dune or anything else space-wise?
No, I'm just in this list, in these 5 movies that I've listed off, it has the most Oscar.
I would think Interstellar, 2001, and The Martian should all 3 have more Oscars than Gravity. That's unbelievable.
It won. I'll list them off real quick.
Let's calm down.
It is best achievement in cinematography, achievement in directing, music written, or score, however you want to look at that. Sound editing, sound mixing, and visual effects. It won 7 total.
A lot of the technical categories. I mean, I guess I can't blame it for that. It's just, it hurts to hear that it won more than Interstellar. Okay, well, I don't feel good about my list just for that reason now. But I mean, if I could change, I'd probably just throw Gravity at 5, honestly, and just keep the rest of the list the same. Interstellar at 1, 2001 at 2, and then Martian, Ad Astra, Gravity, or maybe Gravity above Ad Astra. I mean, one of those 2 would be 5, but it'd be 4 and 5. But I'm not mad at that list. I mean, all good films, really. Overall, not a bad one.
Yeah, I think they're all worth watching. I think they all bring something a little bit different, but it is one of my favorite categories of movies. So, and because of Project Hail Mary, I was like, oh, let's do this.
Yeah, I think about, again, how many movies wouldn't exist without, like, 2001. Okay. Seth, are you ready for your 5?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm really interested to see if you can guess the common thread here. All right. So, starting out
you didn't get me.
That's why I set it up this way.
Starting
out with the first one. Let's go Deadpool and Wolverine.
Is it a Hugh Jackman list?
Nope. No, not a Hugh Jackman list.
Okay. 5.
5? Okay. Dang.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that film. Just,
yeah.
I mean, it's a nostalgic pull.
Okay. The second film we'll go with here is the animated film Sing from 2016.
Mm-mm.
The original?
Yeah, the original, the first one.
2.
Okay. Sing. Third film on the list, Tropic Thunder.
Okay.
You know what the thread is?
I think I do.
Okay.
Dang. So, okay, let me put Sing. Let me get my list up. I'm going to put that at 3.
Sing it too. Okay. Tropic Thunder at 3. So Sing at 2, Tropic Thunder at 3, and then Deadpool and Wolverine at 5. 2 more to go. Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh. I really don't like that movie as much as other people. It's a tough spot to put myself in, though.
1 and 4 open. 1 and 4 open.
Yeah. Ugh, this is gonna be a brutal L. I'll put it at 4.
At 4? Okay.
Yeah.
So Sing at 2, Tropic Thunder at 3, Wolf of Wall Street 4, Deadpool and Wolverine 5, and your number 1 spot, not bad really, is Dazed and Confused.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I would probably switch Sing with Dazed and Confused.
Put Sing number 1? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love that movie. One of the best anime movies I've ever watched.
I've never seen it, actually. Do you know what
Matthew,
the common thread? Yes, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew.
Correct. I just picked a bunch of movies that he's barely in.
I knew what it was on the second one, but
yeah, I want to try to.
He's the main character on Sing.
I was starting out trying to make a Timothée Chalamet list, and then I saw Interstellar, and I'm like, let me go a different direction here. Which I didn't include Interstellar, but anyways.
Right.
Okay. So Dazed and Confused 1, Sing 2, Tropic Thunder 3, Wolf of Wall Street 4, and Deadpool and Wolverine 5. All right, so Paul.
The Deadpool Wolverine was a low blow. A deep pull.
Deep pull.
It's really hard to just not put Tropic Thunder at 1 for me there.
It is. It's tough.
That movie, I watched that just a few weeks ago. Like again, that movie just it swings so hard.
No doubt, top 5 comedy of all time for me.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it really is.
There's no way you can argue that.
I think it's one I
cannot
forget
be argued
about
at the top
the
5.
most, probably for comedy. But every time it's brought up, it's like that's a top comedy.
One of the most quotable movies ever.
Yeah. And if I could have a spinoff of any film, that's up there for Lex Grossman having his own spinoff.
Yeah.
I saw talk about a casting award.
God, I wish I could remember the story I saw about that movie recently where
there was one last year where what's his face? Christopher McQuarrie was talking about them doing it here soon.
Tom
actually
didn't want to.
No, they said that he wanted to do like his space film first that he's doing, I think, with Alfonso Cuarón, and then he was wanting to finish up the Mission Impossible franchise. He acted like it's still scheduled on his list of films to do, but that he's got like 2 or 3 other films first. But he acts like he's still open to it.
I saw a story that for the original that Tom Cruise wanted to do. He had a script for something else, and he didn't want to do it. To play a different role in that movie, I mean, and then he came up with the idea of being a studio exec. I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll find it and talk about it on the next pod.
I remember that he came up with like the little things of his character about fat hands and wants to dance. Like,
yeah, I had to figure it out. But anyways, I'm not mad about that list.
Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, yeah, go ahead and
all right, time for me to give Paul his 5.
His due, his first one.
I'm not scared. I'm terrified.
All right, first one on the list. What should I give you first? The Great Gatsby, 1974.
Oh wow! What? Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Is that the one that had Ray Fiennes or whatever?
I actually haven't seen this release of
the original.
No, I had not seen. Is that the original?
No,
yeah.
there's one before.
Well, I don't know the original I've seen.
Yeah,
the oldest one I've seen.
The Robert Redford version. I forgot that was the
Robert
thing.
Redford plays Jay Gatsby in this one. Pretty good cast, honestly.
I'll go 5.
That's fair. I'm assuming you haven't seen it, so that's pretty fair to put. All right, Gatsby at 5. All right. What's next? Let's do The Sting. One of my random wrecks.
Are we on a Robert Redford trip here?
I think he's proving a point. I think I should have done this for you, so.
You should have. It'd been tough.
Also, about 30 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, I'll put the Sting on my watch list.
Now all of a sudden rate it.
Now I'm supposed to rate it. We'll go 4.
He's just going to whittle his way down. His number one film will be a movie he's never seen before.
This is a new one, but I bet you haven't seen it. You might have. A Walk in the Woods, 2015.
A Walk in the Woods?
Starring. I'll give you.
I think I have seen this.
Robert Redford, Nick Nolte.
I've seen some. Okay, no. Emma. What's her name's in there?
Emma Thompson.
I have seen some of this. I haven't seen all of it. The only reason I've seen some of it is because like my parents really like Robert Redford, and I think I was in there one day and they were watching it or something. I've actually seen honestly. It was like from what Nick
Nolte and Robert Redford walked the Appalachian Trail at their very old age.
That's all you need.
That's all you need, honestly. Genuinely, that's it.
I like Nick Nolte too.
Me too. He was in Crime 101.
Ooh. Even more reason to go watch that.
Extremely old looking, of course, because he is. But maybe
I feel like he's been old looking for like the last 30 years.
His whole life.
I guess since I've actually seen a little bit of this one, I'll put it at 2.
Okay. All right, now to determine 1 and 3. Where's he going to put this one?
Yes.
Ooh, which one do I want to give?
I don't think we've ever had this situation.
If you haven't seen this movie, then it's just on you. I'll give you the one that's more likely you've seen. Jeremiah Johnson.
You had to have seen Jeremiah Johnson, right?
I think Coach Nolan played that.
I was gonna say, if you had Coach Nolan in high school, you've seen Jeremiah Johnson. I think
he even played that. Great.
I did not have Coach Nolan in high school, which is very tragic at this moment in time because I have not seen this movie.
Oh, brutal.
Oh my God, man.
You need to put that on the watch list too.
I was expecting Captain America Winter Soldier would come in here, but
hey, dude, Tubi's clutch.
Sometimes, just not the originals.
No, don't show for the originals.
I'll just go ahead and put that one at 3 if you want.
This is. I don't even know.
You know what? We'll put it at 3.
Okay. And Paul's number 1 movie is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Okay, one that I actually have seen, so I'm cool with that.
There you go. He finally saw one, folks. He finally saw one. That's another Paul Newman, Robert Redford team up classic. That movie won several Oscars as well, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it did. Paul's number 1 film is a movie he has seen. 2 film is a movie he's seen partly of in the last 3.
In the last 3 he has never seen.
Never seen. What a wild
I was expecting Gatsby. I wasn't expecting.
I'll tell you what I wasn't expecting is A Walk in the Woods over Jeremiah Johnson. Pretty wild.
Brutal.
This list is
brutal there.
It's a crazy list.
If I've seen Jeremiah Johnson, I just don't remember it, but I don't think I've seen.
You've seen the meme, the
outdoorsman movie. If you know anybody who's a big outdoorsman, they love Jeremiah Johnson. It's just that.
You've seen the GIF 100 times.
Oh, is that the horse
nodding,
guy on the horse?
Yeah, big beard, smile and a nod.
Just the nod.
Yeah, it's a great moment in the film. It's a long movie.
That also explains why Coach Nolan played it. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, again, an outdoorsman, it'll be their favorite film ever, or one of. Like my godfather, it's his favorite film of all time. He used to play Jeremiah Johnson every time I came over.
Great film.
Yeah, it is a great film. Okay, well, moving on to higher or lower. And I guess
should we let Paul go first?
Yeah, I was gonna say let's let Paul go first since he's the guest here, and I can read it off for him if you want me to, sir.
I got it up, but if you want to, go ahead. Either way, it doesn't matter. I love the matchup, I guess.
Yeah.
I love the first matchup.
Let's go with your matchup then. Let's go with yours because
okay, it's not quite cats and Winnie the Pooh Fun Bunny, but
nothing will ever top that.
Well, nothing will ever top that. All right, Paul, you ready? You know how this game works? I read off two.
Explain it to me like I don't, because I don't.
All right, I read off 2 movie names. You tell me which one has the higher IMDb score.
Okay.
Fan rating, not
try to see
not
what
Metascore.
Yeah. Fan rating. You try to see what type of streak you can get.
Yeah.
Not tomatoes, just IMDb rating, huh?
Yeah,
just IMDb.
1 to 10.
Okay.
0 to 10, I guess it could be.
It really
never had that.
No fruit. No fruit.
All right. Father doesn't know how this show works.
This one actually, I don't really know how this one's going to go. Paul will be out round 1 because I don't know what I would pick. I kind of know what I would pick, but I'm not sure. First up, Paul, you got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Okay.
Shang-Chi. I hope I don't know.
Shang-Chi, but it's no big deal.
That's a good movie.
It is a really good
one of the not talked about good Disney movies or Marvel movies over the last 5 years. Yeah. Very few they've had.
Definitely.
So that versus The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh man, one I'm very familiar with.
Except for you,
this is actually kind of easy for me because Reloaded was not.
Yeah, that was the least popular of the 3.
Yeah, for different reasons. I would actually go that Shang-Chi is higher here.
All right, let's see. Paul Patrick skates by. Shang-Chi wins by 0.1.
Oh my god.
With a 7.3 versus a 7.2. All right, Paul, moving on to your next round. You will, so whichever one wins goes to the next choices. So Legend of the Ten Rings 7.3 or Signs 2002 M. Night Shyamalan.
Hey, real quick too on the flow of the game, Paul. The winner of the last round moves on to the next, but if it wins again, the other film is what it goes based off of. Just so you know.
So it won't repeat more than once.
If Shang-Chi doesn't, whether it wins or loses, the other film
Signs will stay versus the.
Oh, okay.
So you'll know what one score is, so you'll be picking higher or lower at that point. So higher or lower. So basically, Signs higher than lower than 7.3. But it does help to have I guess it helps to have the movie name. I don't know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we are, since it was Shang-Chi, we're keeping Shang-Chi, and then Shang-Chi now faces off against Signs.
Signs, yep. Which one's higher? And Shang-Chi's 7.3.
Okay. Shyamalan does not do good with the audience when it comes to like a numerical value. He makes very divisive films. I'd go Shang-Chi again.
All right. And you win. Signs was a 6.8. Signs moving on with a 6.8, taking on Insomnia, starring Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank, 2002. Pretty good film, honestly.
Oh, I have seen this. I don't.
I know what I would pick, but I think it's going to be closer than we think. Maybe not. Yeah, probably will be. I don't know what. Well, it ain't gonna be as close as we usually get with the 0.1s.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a 0.1, but it'll be close.
We've had several ties on here too, which is really wild.
I'm gonna. I really want to pick Insomnia, but I'm gonna stay. You said Shang-Chi was a 7.3.
No, Signs. You got Signs 6.8.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
6.8.
Oh, well then no, I'm picking Insomnia. It's not even a question then.
Insomnia 7.2, closer than I kind of thought. But
I thought it'd be
so
like
Insomnia with a 7.2 taking on $1 Million Baby 2004.
$1 Million Baby.
Hilary Swank going up against herself here. Yep. 8.1. She moves on. Oh God. $1 Million Baby 8.1 versus X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick for you. Yeah. Okay. We're on to the next. X-Men Origins Wolverine 6.5, which is kind of higher than I thought it would be. Versus Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. What a cast! Good
Dude.
Gosh. What a cast, man! What a film.
Hey, I meant to mention that to you recently, Seth. Side note: Claudia Cardinale, the main actress in Once Upon a Time in the West, she was actually in that 8.5 movie, that Federico Fellini movie I watched recently too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's check that out.
She's a pretty small part in it, but she's in it.
Paul, I think you should
I think we know what you should pick here, but
Yeah.
Well, Once Upon a Time in the West.
yeah, you just wait for the rating. You just wait for the rating.
8.5.
There you go.
So Once Upon a Time in the West, 8.5, taking on Annihilation, 2018. A very strange movie.
That's a very strange movie, one that I was actually really looking forward to, but Once Upon a Time in the West, I've seen Annihilation.
You've never seen Once Upon a Time in the West?
I don't know that I have.
Go ahead and mark that on your watch list, too.
All right. Well, this list is growing longer by the episode.
Yeah.
Annihilation with a 6.8 versus the original Grease, 1978.
I do not like that movie.
You know, this picture they have of him does not look like him. I don't know if this is the movie poster or what.
It's the bootleg
Like the
version.
John Travolta,
Yes,
musical?
original Grease. Yep.
And it's going up against Annihilation?
6.8 Annihilation. Yep. Can it beat a 6.8?
Yeah, I would say so.
So you're right. Yep. 7.2. A lot of 7.2s and 6.8s already. Ooh, this one should be easy.
That's because of... Anyways.
Grease, 7.2. Moon, 2009.
Ooh, Sam Rockwell.
Mm-hmm. A legend.
Moon?
Mm-hmm.
Moon.
I don't know that I've seen that.
Another
This is a
watch
pretty
list.
easy one if you had. Also, it's going against Grease. With the 7.2, though.
Yeah, that's...
If Grease came out in this day and age, it would not be a 7.2.
No.
Who else is in it outside of Sam Rockwell?
It's pretty much just him.
It's just Sam.
It's him stuck on the moon, like that's kind of the whole
It's
story.
pretty much just him.
There's a robot.
I'm just gonna go off pure talent here. I think Sam Rockwell's a better actor, so I'll go with Moon.
7.8.
There
for
you
me.
go.
Paul on a roll here. It looks like Moon 7.8 taking on the Suicide Squad 2021 James Gunn version.
James Gunn version.
Not that it
The
probably will
Suicide
matter,
Squad,
but-
not Suicide Squad, but the.
Correct.
You said, wait, I'm sorry. You
John Cena.
go ahead.
7.8. Does the Suicide Squad 20? I wouldn't tell you
Ooh.
neither one of them beats that, but
The James Gunn Suicide Squad?
The James
That's
Gunn
actually
Suicide
tough.
I doubt it.
Dang. Is Gunn
It is a good
Suicide
movie, I
Squad?
You think it's like touching an 8?
Me?
James Gunn
No,
Suicide
I'm
Squad?
asking Paul here. Yeah, you think it's touching an 8 on IMDb?
You think it could beat 7.8?
the James Gunn fans are big James Gunn fans, so
Yeah,
I could
but
see
the
this movie
haters
just
of DC
being.
are also prominent.
Yeah.
I'd put the Suicide Squad somewhere at like a 7.5 to 7.7, but I'll stick with Moon.
We'll see what Paul said.
I'm gonna say 7.4.
7.2 for Suicide Squad.
7.2.
Oh, okay.
7.2. Another 7.2, of course. Yeah, I mean, my goodness, 6.8 and 7.2 is the majority we've seen here for Paul. Paul is at a 10 streak here. He's got 7.2, The Suicide Squad, taking on Home Alone, the original, 1990. But don't worry, he cooks, he cleans, he kicks some butt. That's on the poster.
We're sticking with so it's James Gunn Suicide Squad, so we'll stick with that over Home Alone.
Oh, okay. This is gonna be close, I think.
Paul is out.
Oh,
Home Alone with a 7.8.
7.8.
Dang, okay.
Home Alone.
It's a beloved, man. It's a beloved movie.
Yeah, I thought at least be a 7.5 for sure.
Paul Patrick has a 10 streak. Got the double dig.
That's what's up.
Yeah, not bad for your first time.
Especially coming out with a 0.1 difference on the first one.
Oh my gosh, that could make.
That was probably the hardest
We've
one.
had that happen several times.
Yeah, I've lost on the first question multiple times. All right, Seth, are you ready for yours?
Cats. Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. All right. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, or Inside Out, 2015, the first Inside Out.
God, bro.
It's two
I don't
highly
know.
rated movies for sure, but I think I know what I would pick here.
Yeah, I think it has to be those damn Disney movies. Sorry. Let's say it. Yeah, I'm gonna go Terminator. You said it was Terminator 2, right?
Terminator 2, yeah, Judgment Day.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay. That's what I would go with too. Terminator 2, 8.6. Inside Out, 8.1. So both films above an 8. That's pretty big. This is a movie I've never heard of. Oh, no, I do know this movie. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, or 1408 from 2007, the hotel horror film.
I honestly like that movie. For like a fun little
big
horror
at its time.
Yeah. For like
Stephen King.
It's Terminator, I mean.
Yeah. I didn't really have to ask. I just had
it's
to
going to be very hard to beat that score.
Yeah, 1408 has a 6.8, which is actually higher than I thought it may have. 1408 at 6.8 versus Elysium from 2013. This could be a close one. Elysium was
the Matt Damon, right?
Yeah, Matt Damon,
Jodie
Neil
Foster.
Blomkamp film, the follow-up to
that movie
District
was
9.
Terrible. I thought. Yeah. What did I have? The 6.8, of course.
6.8, 1408.
I'm gonna hope for a tie here and just go with 1408.
1408, okay. 1408 at 6.8.
I'm probably
Elysium 6.6. There you go, buddy. Elysium 6.6. That's 0.2 difference versus Poor Things 2023.
Poor Things.
Poor Things at a 7.8. Or The Menu 2022, the two great films right here. Two really good films.
Oh, no. What was Poor Thing, 7.8?
7.8, yeah.
Oh, no. Well, I know which movie I enjoyed more.
Come on, brother.
The Menu more for me, but I think Poor Things will
the
probably
Menu
rate
is definitely
higher.
Yeah, it's definitely Poor Things, but it's Poor Things, but The Menu I think is a better movie, personally.
Okay. Poor Things, 7.8. The Menu 7.2 deserves more.
7.2. Here you go.
The Menu 7.2 or Super 8 from 2011, the J.J. Abrams film, which I did not like.
That's the one. Is that found footage or no?
Yeah, kind of. It was like done on the old retro like footage sort of thing. It may have been found footage. It was about the kids and like a alien type entity. It's very weird.
The Menu
7.2, Super 8. 7 flat. So
I can't believe that's a movie that's 7.
Yeah, like I said, I remember that got so hyped up and I didn't like it. I'm not a big Spielberg guy myself. Super 8, 7 flat, or The Karate Kid Part 2.
Oh,
that's interesting.
That can't be rated high.
Osaka or wherever. I'm gonna. I don't know.
Pretty big following though, I guess. I'm gonna stick with
Super 8.
What about Super 8? Yeah, 7.
Super 8
I guess.
Flat 7.
That's gotta be in the 6s.
Karate Kid Part 2, 6.2. Good choice.
Oh, wow.
Karate Kid Part, which I actually like that film. 6.2 seems low. Karate Kid Part 2 at a 6.2, or Sweeney Todd, the 2007 film.
Is that?
I'm blanking right now. That's
a remake. Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's Johnny Depp, but I'm blanking on the director right now. Big director.
I'm gonna pick Sweeney Todd. I think that movie was pretty highly received.
Yeah, I like that film a lot. Tim Burton is
especially the soundtrack. There you go.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd is a 7.3. Sweeney Todd 7.3.
I thought it'd be higher than that.
Actually, I really like it, especially for a musical. I like it as a musical, and I'm not a big musical fan. Sweeney Todd 7.3, or The Sixth Sense, 1999 Shyamalan film. The one that put him on the map.
Another Shyamalan. Oh man, that was one of his ones that I think people liked, or at least it was talked about. I don't know. I'll go with Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense 1999 has an 8.2 over Sweeney Todd 7.3. Sixth Sense 8.2. I thought it was going to be a tie. Versus, speaking of Matthew McConaughey, Contact from 1997, his other space film that he did.
I've never seen that movie.
Space-related film.
What score does it Contact need to beat?
It needs to beat an 8.2.
Okay, no.
Going to Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Okay, Sixth Sense and an 8.2. Contact has a 7.5.
Oh wow!
Contact 7.5. Yeah, it's definitely one to watch. I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but it's really beloved. Contact at 7.5, or Monsters Inc. 2001.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. It's got to be.
Monsters Inc. 8.1, 0.6 difference. Monsters Inc. 8.1. You're also at 11 now, so you're
good.
currently have the lead. Monsters Inc. 8.1, or the Royal Tenenbaums from 2001.
I've never seen that. I'm gonna stick with.
I have seen that.
Yeah, I mean,
2001 matchup right here.
An 8 has got to be hard to beat on these games. Usually, I'll stick with Monsters Inc.
Royal Tenenbaums 7.6, so pretty highly rated. You got that one. Royal Tenenbaums at 7.6, or The Nice Guys, Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe.
Should be a 10.
Agreed.
Should be watched every week.
I think this could be a.
Unfortunately, I don't think it's. Wait. Well,
Royal Tenenbaums 7.6 is what it needs to be. It'd be tough to beat, but
I think it's gonna be insanely close. I'll just go Royal Tenenbaums. I don't think it's quite 76 out of
Royal Tenenbaums 7.6. Nice Guys 7.4. So close. Definitely
That's so low. That's so low. That's
Nice
a joke.
Guys at a 7.4, or Die Hard 2.
That's the one where he's in New York, right?
I think so. That's the one that has Samuel Jackson, I think.
I'm going Nice Guys. I don't care if it loses. I gotta go with him.
Nice Guys 7.4. Die Hard 2 7.2. He's on a streak here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Die Hard 2 7.2, or The Help 2011.
Ooh.
I don't know about that one. I'll go with The Help.
The Help. The Help has a 8.1, 0.9
Golly.
difference. The Help at 8.1. Oh, this could be a good one. The Help at 8.1, or Snatch from 2000. Jason Statham, Brad Pitt, Guy Ritchie film. I think this could be really close.
Yeah, I think I might be out on this one. I'm going to stick with The Help, but I think I'm out.
I think Snatch has an 8 flat, if I remember right. The Help, 8.1. Snatch, 8.2. 8.2. No! That is the streak.
I'm out.
15.
I'll take it.
15 is your score. So we got a 15 and a 10 right now. Okay.
All right. You ready?
Last. Oh, I'm ready.
Means Cannon's going to get a 20.
Good little first rounder here. Not really. Well, maybe actually. I don't know about this one. One of these. The Wrestler, 2008. The Others, 2001, starring Nicole Kidman.
I'm going to say The Wrestler.
Yeah. Wow, closer than you think. The Wrestler 7.9, and The Others was 7.6.
Oh, wow.
The Wrestler 7.9, 1917.
Oh my gosh.
That's tough. That's really tough.
I think I stick with The Wrestler, but I think this could turn into a tie. The Wrestler.
1917, 8.2.
8.2? What?
8.2.
What?
You ended a streak of one.
8.2.
8.2 for
1917, but 8.2 is what it's at.
Yeah, come on.
I think The Wrestler would be a bigger. I think The Wrestler's a better movie personally overall.
Golly, I thought
that is crazy.
I never thought 1917 was an 8 or higher. I thought more like a 7.7 or a 7.8. Oh wow! All right, 1-0. So I get last choice in the draft. Got 15, 10, and 1. Oh, I'm supposed to be the movie guy here. Okay. Well, now we know our drafting order. For the Gosling draft, which comes up next, let's just move past me getting a 1. I feel like that's worse than a 0.
Yeah, I feel like,
it feels worse to me. I'd rather just be over and done and be like, oh, that was
fair enough.
That was
just a little taste of it and you're out.
But you'll never forget the rating of 1917 again.
That's right.
I won't. My stomach's like
you'll have that memorized, huh?
8.2. All right, so Seth, you get the first pick in the draft. We're going 4 films of Ryan Gosling.
This is easy. I think you know what I'm taking.
Yeah, Seth first, Paul second, and then me. We're not doing Serpentine, so after I get done with my pick at third, we'll go right back to Seth.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get this off the board. The Nice Guys, number 1 for me.
That's
On to
you
Paul.
pick it.
You knew I already told you I was.
Yeah, you said if I don't get it, I'm ending the pod.
I'm quitting. All right, Paul, you're up. First pick. Nice guys off the board. Everything else in play.
Blade Runner 2049. Easy.
Oh wow!
Man, I wish I had that one. All right.
There's two heavy hitters
Typed
off
out
the
what's
board,
been
and
taken
here
down
I
here.
am. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do too. I guess I'll just put an X next to the ones y'all have already taken because those are two of the top ones I had. For me, first pick, I'm going to go La La Land.
That's a good one.
Okay.
That probably would have been my first pick anyway, but I did plan if I went first. I did think about taking Nice Guys from you just for the
brutal.
fun, but
I will respect that. Easy second pick for me, the Fall Guy.
nice.
You would.
Paul.
This is also easy for me because it's also one of my favorites. The Big Short.
That was going to be my next. That was between that and the Fall Guy.
So we got Nice Guys and then Fall Guy from Seth, Blade Runner, and then Big Short. I've
Big
got
Short
La
for
La
Paul.
Land. My number 2. I think I'm going to go Drive
That's a good one.
for my number 2.
All right, that's a good one.
I don't hate
This
it.
next one for me is tough. There's two I really want to take here, but one, I'm not going to take this one because he's not in it as much. So I'm going to go with Crazy Stupid Love.
Okay, that's a good choice. One of the better rom-coms, I think.
I agree.
Nice Guys, Fall Guy, Crazy Stupid Love.
It's a good night right there for me.
It's a good 3-movie matchup.
Paul, what you got? So
Oh,
good
man.
ones available.
There is.
There's one specifically I want, but I'm not going to get it.
I'm going to go Place Beyond the Pines.
Ah,
Yeah, that's what I was wanting.
Golly.
Only reason I take it because he's not in it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not. And that's also why I was on the fence, but
As
Still.
a movie, though.
still
as
is a
a
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I was planning to try to snatch that from you next.
Can't believe he didn't Snake, by the way. Cannon really gets a tough uphill
I
battle
don't like
here.
snake drafts. I'm just like, whoever comes in first, you keep getting it.
Right.
Unless it's like a fantasy draft, then that's different. I think I'm gonna go one of the best sports films ever. Remember the Titans.
That's a good one.
Ooh. Yep.
I think it's hard to talk bad about that movie.
Well, there's one I could take that would is a no-brainer, I'm sure, for most people, but I'm not going to take it. I'm going to take, instead for my last pick, Blue Valentine.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Love that movie. Love that movie.
It's a good list. Nice Guys, Fall Guy, Crazy Stupid Love, Blue Valentine. It's good 4. Yeah, definitely variety.
There is. I'll be shocked if the other one I was considering isn't taken.
Oh. And this is the hardest shot to take. I'm going to take Project Hail Mary.
Oh, that's unfair. We haven't even said what? Boo.
Ooh, this guy.
99% of the population hasn't even seen it. Yeah, I mean, how are we going to pick a movie that is not even really released yet? Oh. Okay, well. You got Blade Runner 2049, Big Short, Place Beyond the Pines, and Project Hail Mary. You got a sneaky one in there. I did not expect that to be taken. I think for my I've got a few on here. Actually, I've got 4 off my list of 12 that I made before the pod that are still on here. I still have 4 on here, so that's kind of surprising. I'm going to go Notebook for my last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Barbie on there, I had First Man on there, and I had Gangster Squad on there. Yeah, I think it would have made top 5 for sure. Yeah, that was a good one, especially Netflix blockbuster film. Yeah. Well, oh, for sure. So one more time, Seth, Nice Guys, Fall Guy, Crazy Stupid Love, Blue Valentine, Paul, Blade Runner 2049, Big Short, Place Beyond the Pines, and Project Hail Mary, a steal, boo. And then for me, La La Land, Drive, Remember the Titans, and Notebook. I feel like I had some of like the more yeah, and I feel like La La Land is like a recent classic too. So Drive's probably one of his more, probably his most serious movie, for I would say, definitely brutal. But yeah, all good lists. Well, okay, before we move on to Project Hail Mary review from Paul, non-spoiler of course. Seth, do you need to head on out, or you want to stick around for it? I know you guys don't want to stick around for my Dune 3 talk, but okay. Okay. Well, all right. Yeah, thanks for joining us for the pod, doing the Oscars recap and everything. I think it was a lot of fun. A little 3-man action. Hey, what was your ballot name on ESPN? Oh, I can't remember. Could have been. Yeah, you picked us too. Same wavelength. Oh, something random I just thought about, Paul. If you're in for, we could also do a little Immortal Man spoiler talk if you want to, since you're the only person I know that's seen it. Yeah, it released this last Friday. I just thought about that. I spoke on it briefly on the 10-minute pod I released last week, but I'd like to talk about it a little more if you want to do that as well.
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. All right. Sorry to cut out your exit. So.
That was pretty much done. Also, the second season of live action One Piece came out. Pretty good.
Got a lot of high praise so far.
It's not saying a whole lot there, but you can tell that Netflix is really behind it. I don't know how long this could possibly go on, considering these people are going to age. So we'll see.
You could lock them up in like a lifetime contract, and then that's just their gig. They just do live adaptation stuff.
That's a contract I have for Ted.
I've heard that.
Okay.
All righty, guys. You guys enjoy all to talk. Well, I won't listen to Cannon's talk at all, but
Thanks a lot.
I'll listen to Paul. I guess I'll listen to it in at the end of the year. Yeah, whenever I see the movie.
So the guy that doesn't watch trailers is going to be the one giving the spoiler-free review. So
Sure.
it's not going to be. Actually, funny enough, I did. So before we did this, I went and watched all the trailers that they released for this movie, and I am so glad I did not watch those
For a project
prior to.
I was told by one of the book readers that I work with, he told me not to watch the trailer. He said they give away some major things in the trailer. So
I think they give away the most major thing.
Yeah. They do.
Hilarious. All right, guys. Enjoy. Peace out. Be safe.
I'll see you next
Peace
time.
out, Girl Scout.
Love you all.
Thanks again to Seth for joining us for another podcast episode. Again, it's been fun to have as a 3-man. So, Paul, you want to go ahead and kick us off? What your thoughts were on Project Hail Mary coming out this Friday? Best Picture frontrunner. What are you going to ask? Sorry.
Yeah. Do we want to launch this shuttle into space? Is what I was going to ask.
Yeah. What is it? Major Tom the ground control, something like that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and kick her off. I haven't seen it. I was going to check it out with you last night. I was unable to make it, but I am interested to hear your overall thoughts on the movie. It's been hyped up a whole lot. Like I said, it's up there for one of my most anticipated films of the year. I mean, nothing touches Dune 3, but it's up there.
It is, and for me, it was too. Like, so looking at the slate coming into 2026, like this was definitely towards the top, just because like the last thing that was adapted from Andy Weir was The Martian, at least that I'm aware of. And I've very much enjoyed that in the universe that Ridley Scott built, and Matt Damon's take on what is essentially a castaway in outer space. Is kind of how I think of that movie. And then so Project Hail Mary. So like first off, like I have not read the book, so if you're looking for like a comparison based on like the book versus the film, like that just ain't me. Although I might actually add it on the reading list just because I'm curious to see how the ending of the film lines up with the ending of the book. Yeah, that's all I'll say about it. Is I'm curious to see how the endings line up with each other, but nevertheless, like Ryan Gosling, like he just continues that hot streak that he's been on over the last really like 10 to 15-ish years, somewhere in there of just. Yeah, of putting out just like he might not have the most like accolades, but he definitely can put butts in seats, and I think he will continue that trend with this film because he takes up a very large majority of the screen time in this movie. Like the support in this film is very little in terms of not just like screen time, but also in dialogue. So Ryan Gosling plays a character named Dr. Rylan Grace. Dr. Rylan Grace has been sort of excommunicadoed from like the scientific community because of a theory that he wrote for his PhD. And that theory was so widely criticized within the scientific community, it essentially like forces him out of the profession. And he's just like a middle school science teacher. And the film actually does show him like, being a teacher within the first bit. The pacing of this film starting off, I very much enjoyed. It starts off like you are in it. There is no runway. You are in the air. It goes from plane on ground to plane is in the air. There's no lead up. And then it sort of slows itself down a little bit. One of the things that you may or may not like or really even care for is like the pacing of this movie is a little push and pull in how they unfold this story. Because essentially you have two storylines, pre-Project Hail Mary, and then the mission of Project Hail Mary itself, which kind of unravel throughout the movie. And then at one point in the film, they begin to intersect, and that is towards the latter bit of the film. And Ryan Gosling is just kind of doing his thing, really. And then there's this thread that evolves that Earth is dying. How original is that? With the exception of, instead of Earth bursting into flames, the Earth is about to enter an ice age. So regardless of how it's doomsday, however you want to spin it. And Ryan Gosling is approached by a woman named Eva Stratt, who is played by Sandra Huller. You may or may not know her from Anatomy of a Fall. That had some Oscar buzz around it a couple years ago. And Sandra's character recruits Gosling's character to sort of be the, I don't want to say poster boy, but almost the brains of this operation, because of the theory that he defended that got him sort of, displaced from the scientific community, is the reason why he is adopted to come and lead this project, being Project Hail Mary. The film explores a lot. It's more about, I would say, companionship. It's a lot about friendship. It's a lot about loneliness. And it all revolves around Gosling's character, who is a bit of a man-child, really, to be honest with you. Like, he's a guy, he's Ryan Gosling still. That's one of the things I did that was kind of hard for me to buy into, is because, like, I've actually met a real, I'm not trying to flex, but like I've met like a real scientist, and like the personality of a real scientist isn't exactly bubbly or charismatic the way that Ryan Gosling has kind of known to be throughout his career. So, if you can get past that, you'll be fine. But she recruits him, and then, like, on this journey, like, Gosling's character kind of discovers a lot, not just about science and through his experiments that he's doing, out in the field, but also with the relationship he develops while he's out there. If you've seen the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the trailer, which I hope you haven't, then you are much better off. The film is almost akin to like E.T. meets Arrival, which I know is a pretty big statement, like the Spielberg film, and then honestly, and then Arrival being, I think, one of the greatest sci-fi films of all time, with Denis at the helm. But essentially, like, the whole film is just this journey to essentially save Earth, and then also while saving Earth, Gosling sort of saves his own humanity through companionship. And that is really the whole gist of it. I don't want to get into it like past that. I will give a shout out to Lionel Boyce, also known as Chef Marcus from The Bear, who plays a very small role in this movie. He plays the bodyguard of the woman, Sandra Huller, that recruits Gosling. So he plays her bodyguard. But there's a point in the film where Gosling and Lionel Boyce's character are kind of forced to interact with each other just because of the circumstances that they're in. And those two actually had really good chemistry. And they were really fun to watch bounce off of each other and explore what they're, what they're doing in the film. Visually, it is, as you can expect, it is a spectacle. I don't know where I would put it in terms of, like, your Interstellars or your Gravities of the world, but I would say it's still something that is to be experienced in premium formats. I watched this in the Dolby Cinema format. I will probably go rewatch this in the IMAX format at some point. So if you're into like the visually appealing movies or visual journeys, like, you'll definitely enjoy this one. Comparatively, also to The Martian, and I only say that because, like, this is based off of the book that Andy Weir wrote, being The Martian and being Project Hail Mary. I do find it to be a bit more approachable than The Martian was. While they both still reserve those sort of like technical dialogue aspects of the film, where they're talking about like elements and physics and mathematical equations, there's still some of that in Project Hail Mary, but like Gosling's appearance just kind of helps like bring the weight of that down, and maybe isn't as harsh for the viewer to like buy into. So I actually think Gosling does a really good job with that in terms of like bringing down some of the dialogue in the film to just like be a little more digestible. The runtime is I always judge so when it comes to like movies and like what's too long and what's not, I always judge it by pretty much one thing is like, do I look at my watch or my phone for the time? Do I ever do that at any point throughout the film? And I did do this once in Project Hail Mary. I do think that it could have been trimmed down and just been a slightly more condensed, especially when it comes to some of the backstory stuff of Gosling's character. Overall, though, from like a plot standpoint, I think they hit all the beats that they were wanting to hit. It really is a lot of fan service in this movie. I do think most audiences will enjoy this film. I think it can be enjoyed by a wide range of ages. I don't even know what this was rated. What was this rated? PG-13. Okay, yeah, I would definitely like take like my 9 or 10-year-old to see this. Like, I don't think it was too adult for some younger kids. Not, like 5 or 6, probably not, but like, like 10 years old, I feel like, yeah, it's actually fun. The little bit of stuff that some of the heavier themes that are in the film, I think would maybe go over a 10-year-old's head. Maybe, I don't know. But I think it can definitely be more enjoyed by a wider range of audiences. The theater itself was actually quite packed. It wasn't sold out, but the first two rows of the theater, which if you go to the movies a lot, you kind of know, like, there's typically always seats open up there. Like, there was actually people sitting in the first 2 rows last night, so that was good to see. There was a lot of chatter about the film prior to it starting. One of the this has nothing to do with the movie, but one of the more surprising things that happened last night was the movie was supposed to start at 7:00. And if you've ever been to a movie theater, like, it does not start at 7:00. But 7:00 rolled around and like nothing happened. Like, the lights weren't dimmed. There was no trailers, and I was like, huh. And so it got to like 7:15, and like people were starting to like, what's going on? And then like we'd come to find out that there were actually no trailers to be shown, period. So they allotted the time of what they would normally reserve for trailers, which is like 20 to 27-ish minutes after whatever the showtime is. They just did nothing, and people just kind of hung out in the theater, which was also kind of cool to see, because there were people definitely up around and chatting and talking, waiting for the movie to start. So that was just a side note to take away from the experience last night. All in all, like, who is this movie for? If you like anything sci-fi, definitely. If you like space exploration, cosmic journeys, if you like science fiction, or if you like science talk, it's for you. If you like buddy comedies, if you like movies about companionship, this is definitely for you. I don't see really anybody being turned away from this film for the film itself. Now, the ending, I'm sure maybe people will vary on a little bit. However, I do think the package as a whole is enough to get everybody in the seat and really enjoyed the ride, because this whole film is really just a ride. Well shot, great soundtrack too, by the way. A lot of the aerial sequences and a lot of the maneuvering within like the airspace were just so visually fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why I keep showing up to like these kinds of movies in particular. I really love those sequences of like action and traversal and grandscape, those types of things. All in all, I'd definitely give it a thumbs up. If you, I guess, like numerical value, I'd put it probably around like 7.5 to an 8, somewhere in there. With Ryan Gosling's performance being just, Ryan Gosling, just the steady Eddie that he is with what he brings to the screen. And shout out, there was also one genuinely terrifying moment in the movie that might be the only thing that would hiccup me from maybe taking a small child, but once it's over, it's over. However, that specific scene is also in the trailer, so I'm like, well, if you've seen the trailer, then you're going to be fine. Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bin there. I'm curious to see how it performs at the box office. I think it'll be extremely successful, and I also think that this will be a film that we're talking about this time next year when it comes to making our Oscar picks for the fantasy leagues and whatnot. So highly recommend, thumbs up. Please go see this in a premium format, whether that be Adobe Cinema, an IMAX, I know there's some other formats like RPX and Big D and all the other sub branches of the formatting space are, but whatever format you can see it in, it's worth the price of admission. It's worth the $20 or $22 IMAX ticket. I will be going to see it again. I very much enjoyed my time with it, and I really can't recommend it enough. This does certainly feel like a movie that, while everyone might not necessarily like the ending, I think everybody will really like the journey. So yeah, go see Project Hail Mary. It comes out this Friday, March 20th. I also saw there were some places showing earlier screenings on the 19th, being Thursday night. So if you can get out there and go support this film and go support your theater, please do it, because it's definitely, like I said, it's worth the cost of admission. And that's really all I got to say about it.
7.5 to an 8 for how much you loved it. It seems like we got a tough critic on our hands. I was going to say, as far as the ending, again, I haven't read the book, but from what I've heard from the book readers, the ending of the book is semi-controversial. So I'm assuming it probably is adapted from the book, but again, I can't say for sure. But yeah, that's pretty raving review right there. I enjoyed that. Now, do you want to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and talk about Immortal Man?
Oh God, The Immortal Man. Yeah, which is funny enough, because you're going from one that's essentially a suicide mission to another one being the Immortal Man, self-proclaimed.
I'm trying to think of how to do this here. Yeah. Because I kind of want to talk spoilers, but I don't want to cut people off and then do the Dune 3 reaction. Is the only thing. Trying to think. Should we just spare Immortal Man?
The Immortal Man?
Should we just spare it? Do you just want to give your overall thoughts on the film, since people have only heard from me? We can do a spoiler talk another time.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You and I have talked about The Immortal Man. Obviously, we went and watched it together. We were at one of the 2 theaters in our state that actually was having a screening of it, which is wild, to be honest. Literally like miles down the road. It still blows my mind. I'll probably think about that till the day I die. But the sentiment, I think, is pretty much the same. Like, it juggles a lot, probably too much. It honestly maybe should have been broken up into more than one film, but it seemed like that this one was, I don't want to say insurmountable, but there were so many obstacles for it to make it from the writer's room to the screen that I don't know that they would have that gas in them to do another one.
No. I think their issue for me, the big issue I take with it, is most of season 6 was very depressing, and Tommy was not himself, and the Peaky Blinders were not themselves. And then you leave on a note in season 6 that we're back, and then in this film we're not back by any means. Right. I think is the tough part for me. I think you said it before, which is true. Like, the first hour of the film or so is slow. There's some good events that happen, and it's introducing you into the world that, I guess, the story it's trying to tell. I just didn't really care much for the story it had to tell. And I was afraid about the introduction of all these new actors and characters and stuff, and I feel like I was right to be afraid of that with the way it turned out. Anyways, yeah, I think that's the biggest issue I take with it, is how much new stuff it tried to introduce and not continue the story the way that it seemed like it was going to continue.
Yeah, the juggling of the bowling pins really with this film was like trying to juggle Tommy or Thomas Shelby as a man, who he is, his trauma that he's been through, his trauma that he's trying to process, and how that affects him and his life and where he is in the world. And then you've got the aspect of like the Shelby family overall and how Tommy kind of plays into that. And then you've got the Peaky Blinders gang itself, that's also like they're trying to juggle both, not only Thomas Shelby but also the Shelby family, and then also Peaky Blinders has like criminal organization, and it just does so much that it never does like great in one avenue. It just does okay in all the avenues.
No. And then you also have the introduction of the Nazis, which I feel like their whole reason for being in the film is kind of not played up enough, or not done well, not performed well, and just kind of there because because they wanted it there. And then the whole Gypsy King angle of things that they kind of introduce in the film, and I don't know. A lot of poor decisions were made, in my opinion, for this movie. Again, it had a few good moments, but like, I don't know. I'm still just so sad, really.
Yeah, I was sad too. Like the whole like Nazi thing, like that to me is just sort of like the way to like reintroduce the Peaky Blinders as an organization and like what it means to be in the business of organized crime, like that you're dealing with Nazis, right? Like that is kind of like,
yeah, but
throughout.
Also the fact of like the Peaky Blinders still being in Birmingham as the bombs are going on, and just so casual, and none of them are at a war or were drafted, or I don't know, like they're like just even the setting that's like, I would get Tommy not participating in World War II, but the younger generation is not in it, and they're just like very casual about the way bombs are dropping, and again their behavior around all of that, and even just like the fraudulent money and all that stuff. Like again, there's so many things that are going on that don't really need to go on, and they don't really enhance the story or any of the characters or events, or it just feels like they're trying to throw a bunch of stuff together to try to end up making an ending of the movie, which is also not good. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't ever feel cohesive, and like the end result just feels kind of meh for everything that they're exploring. And I would still tell people to watch it. It's, like if you've seen the series, obviously watch it, because like why wouldn't you? I guess at this point,
you've already watched 6 seasons.
Yeah, you've already watched 6 seasons, so what's another hour and 50 minutes or 2 hours or whatever it was, of more of a time investment. There was something I'd seen. I'm curious to know your thoughts about this. I was watching, they're obviously on the press track right now, like Cillian Murphy and Rebecca Ferguson, and they were on the Today Show, and the host had asked them, like, I've seen you talk about, he was talking to Cillian Murphy at this point. He was like, I've seen you essentially say, like, this is a movie you can see without have seen or seeing the series. And I was like, I don't know how I would feel about that. So like, this is so hard to, this is a hard thing to play, but like, what would you think about this movie? Like if you hadn't seen Peaky Blinders, if you were just like, oh, I'm just going to go watch this movie, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, I have no idea what it's about.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I couldn't disagree anything more, but I do feel like, again, those introduction of like the new heavyweight actors into the film was almost done for that reason, to try to get an audience that isn't the Peaky Blinders fans. But you can't end, again, after 6 seasons, end with a movie that is accessible for everybody, and you would be so confused throughout the entire film, and your idea of who Tommy Shelby would be a shell of what he really is or was. No, I couldn't disagree with anything or more than that. I think there's no way. No.
Yeah, and like I the Peaky Blinders to me was like, it just didn't feel right too without Arthur. Like if I mean, surely people know that by now that Arthur is actually not in this film.
There was a lot of people. Actually, the two people I talked to at work that are fans of the show didn't know that Arthur wasn't going to be in it. I think because of the way they kept the news so murky on the movie and the trailers and stuff like that, like you just don't really know for sure. And two, holding out hope that they may still be in it. I honestly didn't know until like a week ahead of time, and I checked the cast list and saw, oh no, he's for sure not in it. And then also like Alfie not being in it. Tom Hardy's character, that's a shame. I still think Mosley bothers me the most, because I think there's no reason that he shouldn't have been the main villain of this movie, and that is your way into the Nazis and fascism and all that stuff. But no, we'll just act like his character never existed. I don't know. Again, I could just go on for, it's almost like the Game of Thrones last season. I could go on for hours and hours and hours on what all I didn't like in the movie. The more I think about it, the more I don't like it. Like, I still want to say it's above, like it's in the 5 to 6 category, 6 being like the highest, but like, I don't know. It's really disappointing and heartbreaking, really.
Do you want to take a crack? I'm looking at the IMDb. Do you want to take a crack at what it's rated?
I know early on it was higher. I'm going to say now it's like a 6.2, 6.4.
It is. This blows my mind. It is at a 7.7.
Yeah, it was like 7.6 or 7.7 before the movie, like whenever we went to go check it out, because I checked the score beforehand. It's unbelievable to think it's still that high, unless we just had a bad theatrical experience and we were watching different movies than what came out on Netflix. Yeah, there's no way that's not inflated in some way. Again, and if it holds that rating and everybody else watches it and they think it deserves that rating, I just have to say I can't disagree more again with that sentiment. There's no way it's a 7.7. It ain't even a 7. It probably isn't even a 6.5.
I'd probably put it at about a 6 for me personally.
6 is what I had it at about before. But again, the more I just think about certain moments, like pivotal moments of the movie and the story, it just rubs me really, really wrong. Yeah. Anyways,
that's fair. Yeah, curious to see what they do with that franchise moving forward. Like Netflix, what they decide to do with it.
The way they explain Arthur's absence and the way they explain it 4 times over in 4 different ways is it's very poorly handled for such a beloved character of the show, like a crowd favorite.
Yeah,
it's very poorly handled.
And the result of what they explain too, right? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like when you find out what really happens.
Yeah.
Like on the 4th time that they explain it and you really get down to the nitty gritty of it. It's something I told the guys at work, like you could never imagine it. And it should have never been done, in my opinion. And for the way they did it, I don't think it got enough room to breathe or explanation or anything. I don't know. Anyways, very, 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 very disappointing. Again, 6, but that would be the highest score I could give it. Over time, I could see me falling down more towards a 5. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, we don't have to get into spoiler talk because I still want to talk Dune 3 and I don't want to kick everybody out before that, because this is like a national holiday for me with this trailer out today. Again, I respect you guys not watching it so you don't spoil yourselves on it or no information on it, but my goodness, dude, when we're talking about like best movie trailers I've ever watched in my life, like it's high. It's very, 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 very high.
So are you glad you watched it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm ready to run through a wall right now. It is it's definitely one to watch, like in my opinion. I think it's good, and it brings up a few things. Again, no spoilers at all. Very anti-spoiler. It brings up some things that I think you would have had to have read the books to understand what is going on. and how pivotal those moments are. Like, oh my gosh, they're actually showing this. But if you don't have any idea what's in the book, then it won't mean much to you, or won't be something that stands out a whole lot. But there is at least one thing that I've watched some reactions. I don't ever watch reactions anymore, but for this I had to. There's a introduction / reintroduction of a character that a lot of people are confused on, but I think some other people that may have not even read the books knew that it was coming. But
I bet I could guess who that is, just because I've had this character in the back of my mind since the first film.
Yeah,
you
probably could guess. It confused a lot of people. Some people thought it was a flashback. I can tell you that it is not a flashback, but but anyways, so some stuff was confusing to people, but some stuff I didn't even catch on my first or second or third watch that, again, is huge if you've read the books. But otherwise, I mean, it's a 2.5 minute long trailer. So for it to call itself a teaser, is pretty wild. But honestly, it doesn't feel that long at all. It does feel like more like a minute and a half. I know it's weird to say, but it just felt like you got flashes of a lot of things. And I can already see there's definitely some deviations from the book just on what they've shown us already in the trailer.
Okay,
so
this is what I wanted to ask, like just from the 2.5 minutes, which is still wild that that's like a first teaser is 2.5 minutes long, but that's besides the point. The question is that based on what you did see, do you feel like they're what the vibes, I guess we'll say, do you feel like that maybe they're going to do an okay job at adapting that book?
I think Denis so far. So when I first saw the first two films, I had not read any of the Dune books. After the second one, I was committed. I was completely invested. So I've read the first 4 books now. Yeah, 4. I'm on to the 5th out of 6. So I'm way ahead of the story. Now as a book reader, I think the vibes that I get from the Dune Messiah book is very cold and isolated and kind of depressing, honestly. I don't really get a lot of those vibes from this movie. I have not seen this quote, so I can't say for sure, but somebody said that Denis had said it was the most action-packed of the 3. That would be a large deviation from Dune Messiah. Dune Messiah has one huge moment that will be awesome to witness on screen, which they already have alluded to it in the trailer. And with some of the posters and stuff, but for it to say it's the most action packed, that would be a huge deviation because it's more of a political conspiracy, heavy as the head that wears the crown sort of story than it is. It's more paranoia filled than it is like action filled. So that would definitely be adding some different things, but I'll say too, that again in Dune Messiah we skip the whole Holy War era that is not shown on screen at all, or in the book at all, or gone into detail at all. Like we're starting at the end of the Jihad. I'll say in the trailer, it does not seem like Denis going that way. And I love that. And I think all the book readers love that. Like that's a huge deviation that we want as book fans, is we want more of the Holy War, more of the Jihad. How can you just skip, all that? So I think the fact that it seems like he's going to be including that in the movie makes it more action packed just for that reason alone. It definitely looks like higher intensity and suspenseful again than the book is, but being that again at its core it's like a political conspiracy. And again, the difference between like the first Dune book and the second and the first 2 movies in this one, at least based off the story, is that you're not out in the desert as much and in the nature of things and all that stuff. This is more of a city-centric and people-centric, again, political story than it is that whole side of Dune, like the exploration of Dune and all that stuff. If anything, there's hardly any desert that's gone into for most of the story.
So is it fair to say this is more about King's Landing than Westeros?
Yeah, that'd be a good way of putting it. And
Okay.
again, what it's like to be emperor after committing a whole jihad, and I don't want to really give away much about the story. Again, it seems like it deviates in some areas. There's a couple of big characters in the book that aren't shown, at least in the trailer, and I could see them cutting them out completely, and it wouldn't be bad. Like, that's the great thing is, again, after reading the books and going back and watching the movies, like, a lot of the stuff that Denis changed from the books is really cleaning up the story, making it more coherent. Like a big, for instance, that again, we're already past, so it's not really a spoiler at all, but during the events of the first Dune book, Paul already has a child that dies during the war, like at the end, like when they're taking over from the Emperor and all that stuff for going at the Emperor in the second movie. Paul's child dies. That is completely not done in the Dune films. They feel a lot more like successive with each other from the first movie to the second movie, and it doesn't skip time a whole lot at all. But in the book, it's like a 4-year period in the first book, so that's different. And his sister is already born by the end of the first Dune book, and she is not at the end of the second movie. So a lot of things that he's changed, like, have been for the better in a way, I would say, and don't confuse people as much as they would if they read the book. So I think any of the adaptations that he's going to have in the third movie, I don't foresee like people getting up in arms about. It's kind of a rare instance of where somebody's adapting a story for a different medium and they're actually elevating the story in a lot of ways. So I still expect all the high notes, all the highlights from Dune Messiah to be here. And again, a lot of them have already been shown in the trailer. But I do expect some changes. There's one brief moment of a woman in a dress that's like flowing and she's up on like a pedestal. And that's actually from like fan art or like Dune art that I've seen from decades ago. So they're doing like a faithful adaptation while again, like updating it in a sense. It does say the epic conclusion of the Dune story. So I think that's reiterating again that this is the last one, at least that Denis involved in. And I just don't see them going past this with going into the books. It's just, if anybody were to adapt it, Denis would be great. Cause again, he's proved himself great at adapting it, but it really starts kind of going off the rails or getting very out there after Dune Messiah. Like Dune Messiah already starts to get out there. And then after that, it's really in Children of Dune, like the follow-up to Dune Messiah is, from what I've read so far, is probably the weirdest to me and the hardest to follow. And then God Emperor.
That's where Herbert's writing falls off too, right? His children?
No. So his writing, he completed the 6 books of the Dune series. So it's Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune, Heretics of Dune, and then Chapter House Dune. He wrote all those. And that was supposed to be like a complete franchise. Then his son, after he passed, his son ended up doing other Dune stories that none of the readers really count as like canon within the universe. It's really just Frank Herbert's 6 books. And again, I would say up to God Emperor, like the first 4 books are pretty... Once you get into Children of Dune and God Emperor, they get more polarizing, but they're still pretty beloved as books. And then after God Emperor, it's like a whole nother test of how much do you really love Dune. Like from Dune 1 and Dune Messiah, whenever you get into Children of Dune, I feel like it's your first test of, you really love Dune? Are you sure? And then God Emperor's kind of that same way. And then I haven't gotten Heretics is the next book I'm going to read. But from what I understand it, again, it continues on that train of we're getting more and more out there, more and more crazy. The story is wild and a lot harder to follow. So I just don't see them continuing the franchise back past this. I am interested to see if he brings in some elements of 3 or shows a bit of that story or alludes to it at all, or if it's really just going to all wrap up nice and neat by the end of this and they're not going to tease any continuation of this franchise. I'm just interested to see on how they approach that. But yeah, I mean, again, none of what I have to say much is really spoiler. The only thing, again, is the chanting makes the trailer. The chanting. Oh my God, man. Like I was immediately searching for it on streaming platforms. Like, has this been released on a soundtrack or anywhere yet? Because, yeah, it reminded me of the speech from Dune 2, Paul's speech in the cave, where he's speaking in the Fremen language. Imagine that in song form, like a chant form, like it's hyping you up to go to war form. It's absolutely incredible. I've watched the trailer over a dozen times already. Like it's, yeah.
Has it been released what the runtime is yet?
No. It's hard to again guess because, so again, he split up the first book into 2 movies, and the first book was like, I want to say somewhere around 750 to like 770 pages. And then Dune Messiah is like under 400 pages. It's like 350 to 400. So judging off of that, it being half the size of the first book, it's a perfect size for like another film, I guess, like just to be like Dune 1 and 2. So I would assume it's going to be at least 2.5 to 245. That would be my guess on the runtime.
Which would put it right in line with the first 2. It was 235 and then 246 for parts 1 and 2. So
yeah, again, that
would make sense.
Let's split the book up into 2, and then if you split the first Dune book up into 2, and then check out how many pages in Dune Messiah, it all kind of lines up with each other. And again, if he's going to go in some, like one thing very small, for instance, is there's a moment of Paul talking with Jessica, his mom, in the trailer. Jessica has pretty much no presence in Dune Messiah. Like there's already again a small difference, and to people that are fans of the movie, they almost would expect nothing less than for her to be included in the movie. But as a book reader, it's like she just kind of falls off the face of the earth after the first book. So small differences like that could create more story and more interactions, more dialogue, more screen time, all that stuff. Like I said, small changes he's made, or the inclusion of the Holy War, that's going to add more than what the book had already. So again, he's adding certain elements that I think could kind of fill up the movie a little more. As far as like the actual main story of the book, I don't think you're really included a whole lot in that. Like it does a good job of, again, if you've only seen the movies, there's a lot happening, but there's nothing like crazy that you know what to expect from it. But again, if you've read the books, you're like, oh my gosh, they're giving a lot away. So it's kind of like if you know sort of thing. But again, the main story of it is hinted at, but it's not obvious, I guess to say. And it does look like there will be a time jump, but again, not like the book where we start with a time jump. It seems more like there's going to be like a good part of the film that is before, I guess, the story of Dune Messiah, going into the Holy War and setting up the events and a whole lot of different stuff. But it does seem like there will be a time jump within the film at some point. I don't know. I don't know what much else to say about the trailer, really. That I'll just say this. You know that Robert Pattinson's in the movie, right? You know that
I've read most of the cast list. I did see some of the stills that were released, especially for like the movie poster stills that they're going to use for promo, with all the different characters and their facial expressions going on. Like I've seen the one of who I love Florence Pugh so much. I think she's one of like the next like generation of like top tier actors. I seen hers, and I've seen Pattinson's. I've seen Anya Taylor-Joy's. So I do have some knowing of what's going on. I will typically read a cast list. Typically, not all the time, but typically.
Again, this is no spoiler at all, but Pattinson's character looks just like, it's like a mixture of three people to me. A lot of people have said Paul Bettany in Da Vinci Code. I could see that for sure. The two that I thought about was his name's Rutger Hauer, but he plays Batty, the main villain in the original Blade Runner film. He looks a lot like that to me. Meets Robert Patrick as T-1000 from Terminator 2. Somewhere between all those three characters, but he definitely looks crazy different. And that character is going to be so much fun. And they include, again, you would never be able to tell in a million years if you haven't read the book, but they include a wild character from the book that a lot of book readers were afraid that they may steer clear of for the movie. Not even the weirdest of the book, but definitely weird. But they are in it. You just you couldn't tell in a million years if you haven't read the book. And that's one of the catches that it took me like 10 times to realize, like, what is that they're showing? I'm like, oh, okay, I gotcha.
Right.
Again, yeah. There's so many things in the trailer.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you read the book, then you know. But if you haven't, you just... It's a good teaser for the general audiences, I think. But again, as a book reader, it's like, oh my God, like they're giving away some of the big, again, you don't know it, but as a book reader, you know, they're giving away some huge things in this trailer. Like, oh my gosh, they're already showing things like this in the first trailer, like unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, really, there's nothing. I mean, just what I've talked about with you is pretty much all I had to say for the trailer, like non-spoiler wise. Yeah, again, the quote unquote spoiler thing would be the return of a character that's shown in the trailer that, again, a lot of people are going to think, how are they back? Is this a flashback? Whatever, that they'll go into explaining in the movie.
This is when trailers become like propaganda mind games to me. Because like I view it as two ways. It's my view on trailers is that trailers are spoilers, so that's why I don't watch them. But then the other thing is like showing specific shots or characters or landmarks that might make the viewer think that, oh, this is actually what we're going to do. But and sometimes you go to the movie and that is, or sometimes you go to the movie and that's not. So it's like part of that like trailer mind game stuff that I just really try to steer clear of.
Yeah, there's a couple like jaw-dropping shots in this trailer that I definitely think would be amazing to see, like, for the first time on screen and have no preconceived like notion of it. But I also think even if you have seen it on your phone or on your TV at home, seeing it play out in context as well is going to hit so much harder. And you already know with Denis, like, yeah, showing a handful of jaw-dropping shots is going to be nothing compared to what you get in the movie, I think, too, is the thing. Like, this is seriously just a little taste of what's to come. But there is a lot, honestly, shown in the trailer, like just a lot of shots. It's not like they just try to slow it down and make it slow tone. No, this is like an amped up, let's go type trailer. And again, a lot is given away. A lot is given away. I just can't really say from the perspective of somebody who hasn't read the book how much it gives away versus like how I see it, I guess. Because a lot of people may just be like, I don't really know what's going on, but that shot looks amazing. Whereas I'm like, right, I know exactly what's going on here. I don't know. It's hard to say. Again, if you want to steer clear of the trailer, I'm not going to tell you to do otherwise. I'm not going to peer pressure you to watch it. I'm just telling you that, again, it is maybe the best trailer I've ever seen before.
Like, I know what I need to know, right? Like, I know it comes out December 18th. I know that Denis still at the helm, which to me is probably the most important thing. Like, I know that, like, most of the characters are still there. There might be some new ones. That's fine. Like, I don't need to know who they are. I don't need to know what they're doing, or, you know, I don't need to know anything about that.
You're already sold. You're going to the movie. So what more? Why would you want to watch a trailer? And I get that's why trailers are primarily made, is to try to get more people excited for the movie and more people to come out for the movie. But again, for me to be Dune is in my core. It's in my heart and soul. There is absolutely no way I could go 8 months, 9 months without 9 months without checking this trailer out. Again, just to get a taste of what we're about to have. I'm still like just pinching myself that this is a real thing, like that this movie's actually coming out this year and so soon. And I was telling Key, it's so funny. I was telling her yesterday, before they announced that the trailer was coming out today, it was just on television. It always plays on TNT, Dune 1 and Dune 2. Key made a funny observation yesterday. She said that Dune 1 and 2 are to TNT what Marvel films are to FX. And that's so true.
Wow, that's funny. They
play it nonstop. But we just so happened to be watching that, and I was telling her, again, no spoilers on anything for her, but just how I was expecting Dune 3 would be is more of a return to form to Dune 1, which was a lot more polarizing with audiences than Dune 2. I expected more of that. After the trailer, I don't really quite know anymore. But I do know that, again, if it follows the story of the book overall, I think it's going to be more of a slow burn, and again, more political than anything. So I think a lot of audiences will come out saying Dune 2 is still the best. Like, yeah, it's good, but it ain't Dune 2. But I could see this being my favorite out of them all, just for, again, like the elements of the story. What it really is about is amazing. Yeah, again, going in before the trailer came out, I was expecting a lot of people wouldn't really care for this film, and I may be the only defender of it ever, but I'll defend it to the ends of my days. After seeing the trailer and hearing like the action-packed stuff, I just don't know anymore. Like, maybe it could be people's favorite, but I'm still kind of expecting it to get a little more, more out there than the last two, I would say. Like, you remember in the first Dune film, the like spider humanoid thing that could like understand English when they were in the throne room between the mother Bene Gesserit, and the Reverend Mother and the Baron. It's going to get into more like creatures and different races of people. Like, you haven't really been introduced to a lot of that stuff yet in the movies. It's going to get definitely more weird than the first two. So some people may love it for that reason, and some people can't even get past the throat singing of the Sardaukar and how weird that sounds. So
well, it makes sense too, because like the first film, right, you're exploring what Dune is as a planet. You're exploring who the Harkonnens are. You're exploring the Atreides family. The second film, you go to live with the Fremen and see their way of life. So in each installment that he's done so far, there has been another element of world building on top of what they've already done, before it. So to flesh out more of this universe in the third film, I would actually expect to see. I'd be surprised if we didn't have some introduction of either a new race of people or of creatures or of planets and landscape. That stuff makes sense to me, so I can believe that.
I think what will be hard to pull off is how much there is introduced, because there are
I would agree.
There's at least 3 races of species that come into play in this movie. One of them matches with another, I'll say, and then one of them is very kind of out there, the one that I said they actually included in the trailer that a lot of people would never catch in a million years, even the book readers, and other planets, all that stuff, new characters, old characters. Like, I do think it'll have a lot of kind of juggling to do, in a sense, or to get people introduced, like world building all over again in a way, just how they handle all that. But I will say, if you've seen Dune Prophecy, you're a little more initiated or a little more ready for this. It took me until I really has sat there and thought about it, that's probably why they did Dune Prophecy, is there's certain things that are introduced in that show that they go into in Dune Messiah, certain types of people and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be movie of the year. I'll say going into this, of course, it was already my number one anticipated, and then the Odyssey coming second. It's definitely created a larger gap for sure after seeing the trailer. Like, I was already overly hyped about it, and now I'm like, I've never been more hyped for a movie in my entire life. You could add up all the rest of the films I've ever anticipated, and I don't think they would touch this one.
I mean, wow, you've rounded out my top three for the year, being like Project Hail Mary, The Odyssey, and then Dune. Like those are my top three anticipated that I know of coming out this year. That list could change at some point, but essentially, like from what we know now, like those three films are what I am planning my life and my scheduling around. So, I'm glad that we were able to hit all of those beats. And two, like the only thing left about Dune that I want to know about this part 3 has nothing to do with it, but like, are they going to release the first two, like do another theater run like prior to part 3?
I'm gonna say probably, but also with how packed the movie theaters are this year with movies, it may be a little more difficult, but I would say they almost have to do that, even for a night or something, to say we're playing Dune 1 at 4 and Dune 2 at 7, or play it the weekend before or something like that. But I would expect that will happen for sure. I think that'd be awesome for people that haven't got to check out the movies yet and then want to check this one out, to actually get the chance to see them in theaters before they see the third one, rather than watching them at home, because those are definitely theatrical experiences for sure. I mean, I've watched them a million times at home, but it just doesn't compare to seeing it in the theater. But yeah, I would say they probably will do that. I was going to say what's funny, real quick. I just pulled it back up when Seth and I on our last pod went over our most anticipated movies of this year. That was actually my order: is Dune 3 at 1, Odyssey at 2, Project Hail Mary 3.
There you go.
Also, so it's the same list I have. I had Magician's Nephew at 4. That's the Chronicles of Narnia movie coming out. Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then probably what you'll reconsider to put in your top 3 is Werewolf, the new Robert Eggers film. Comes out in December on Christmas Day.
I was thinking about Werewolf, but I didn't know if it was like hard committed to like a 2026, early 27 release.
Yeah, it's committed to a Christmas Day release, which I think they'll stick to, with Nosferatu having the same thing. I definitely expect
that's kind of wild if they stick to that, though, man.
It'll be following Doomsday and Dune 3, like the following week.
That's the following week after what is bound to be by far the biggest, at least in North America, the biggest box office weekend domestically that probably the industry has ever seen, if I had to guess.
Maybe ever.
This, at least from a fan point stand of view, this is miles ahead of Barbie and Barbenheimer. With Barbie and Oppenheimer, like this is. I think I'm still shocked that none of them have like come off that release date.
I think that's what they're still trying to create is a second part of that. I think the difference is that I think you get a little more variety for sure out of something like a Barbenheimer, because that's just a wild combo. I just think you get two of the most anticipated movies again of all time on the same day. And I don't think either Barbie, I would say Oppenheimer, at its time was definitely one of the most anticipated movies for sure, being Christopher Nolan and the story and all that stuff. But I would still say Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday will have more hype behind it than either Barbie or Oppenheimer. And the fact they come out on the same day, I think the only hurt for the box office to me is that they overlap more on audiences than Barbie and Oppenheimer do. Because again, Barbie and Oppenheimer are two opposite ends of the spectrum. I think Doomsday and Dune 3, you're going to have more of the same type of audience, and both those films will be fighting over, again, most people won't check out 2 movies in a weekend. I think you'll have a lot of people that do, and again, the box office is going to go insane, but I think you're going to have a lot of people that choose between one of those 2 movies, and that's the hurt of it. Unless again, it just becomes a cultural phenomenon like Barbenheimer, and everybody's like, you got to see these back to back. And if I go to see them back to back, I'm seeing Dune 3 twice, and then I'll check out Doomsday. Heck, I might even check it out 3 times. Like I already know, like whenever I purchase a ticket for Dune 3, I will be purchasing a ticket for the following showtime that I'm able to see. Ain't no question about it.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It'll at this point it'll be, close to 7 or 8 years in the making, because I mean the first Dune came out 2020, but like it had been announced probably 2 years at least before that. So we're on quite the trek here for this trilogy.
Yeah, I would say Dune 1 2021, so just a year later after you said, but it's actually less of a gap between 1 and 2, or a 3-year gap, and then this one will be a 2-year gap. So, well, 2.5 years pretty much, but pretty much the same between each of them. But yeah, again, there's so many things like spoiler wise from the books that I really want to bring up, but I also don't, because that's a very small segment of people that have actually read the books. So it would be a niche amount of people I'd be talking to, but oh my God, dude.
Oh, I have a fun question. What is the Dune Part 3 popcorn bucket going to be?
Oh man, I
know. Do they go back to the worm?
I have an idea for what would make a really cool popcorn bucket. That is one of those species of people I was talking about that was alluded to in the trailer, but I think that would be so niche that nobody would ever get that or literally buy it. I have no idea, really. I have absolutely no idea. I'm sure somebody could come up with a good one. I think it'd be cool to make like a Arrakeen, which is the capital of Dune, like maybe like a palace sort of bucket, because that is something that, again, central sort of environment to the story, and has been updated a whole lot. Like it's supposed to be the most unbelievable architecture and stuff like that. So I could do something like that, go more city, go from a worm to a city. I have no idea though, really, to be honest with you. I mean, even if I were to get into spoiler territory, I don't know what I could create a popcorn bucket around. Again, I have one idea, but it would be so niche that they would never do it. But I think it'd be an awesome looking popcorn bucket.
Well, I mean, when Part 2 came out, that popcorn bucket just kind of took on a life of its own and became its own meme and just like moment in pop culture, where the Dune popcorn bucket was just like the talk of, kind of the talk of a public space. And so I'm like, do they acknowledge that with this third film? Do they I don't see any popcorn, but you know what I mean? Like, what do they? Yeah.
Even if they had all the options in the world, I don't see how you could top that moment of the second one. I think, again, it's kind of like a Barbenheimer situation where it's a hard thing to like purposely recreate. Like it was very organic with the way that it happened before. So
because they did in the first time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing about going viral. It's like it always comes from content that wasn't made to go viral.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it really needs to get picked up by the people, and that's a hard thing to force. But I don't think that it will be as big as 2 by any means when it comes to the popcorn bucket. And again, I have no idea on design of it. Like I said, the only idea I have is not going to be done by any means, and it would, I guess, be somewhat of a spoiler on just like a character that's in the movie. But again, most people, you'd have to have seen the movie to like get what the bucket is, and most people are getting the bucket before they see the movie. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they'll end up doing with it, or I don't have a good guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm just here for the ride, man.
Yeah, oh man, I just don't even know. Oh, I just, again, have to say one more time, maybe the best trailer I've ever witnessed in my days. And I know I'm very biased on that, but as soon as I click stop recording on this podcast episode, guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to rewatch the Dune 3 trailer once again. Like I was rewatching it before this podcast started. I'm going to set the record for probably most times ever watched a movie trailer before.
I will watch it on December 19th.
think it's 18th.
It is currently. Well, yeah, I'll be watching the movie on the 18th. I'll probably watch the trailer the next day just to like give myself a little bit of that hit again, just to chase that dragon. 5.7 million views on the official Warner Brothers channel on YouTube in 8 hours.
And think about all the other channels it's been released on as well, and all the different. That's just on YouTube. Think about social media. Like this trailer. It made an impact for sure. I'm going to force this in front of my girlfriend's face here in about 5 minutes. So
I know I'm going to have to like get on. I've already not been on X or the IG today, and I'm just going to have to like get on there and just mute Dune and any Dune related word.
And again,
again,
it blows me away that this is the first trailer, because I don't know where you go from here with another trailer either, because
I don't either. You told me it was 2.5 minutes, and I was like, "What? There's no shot, no shot that the first trailer for."
And they did call
one of the most
teaser.
Anticipated movies of the decade.
They called it a teaser. I mean, it says official teaser trailer, and I'm like, this is 2.5 minutes, and this is a lot. So I don't know how you're. Heck, even like just with the opening of it, like what they're talking about is like a wild foreshadowing of what's to come from the jump. Like, it's already pointing towards later on in the story. Like, I don't know how they don't, or like I said, I don't know where they go from here with it.
Well,
a couple other things they could show, but
it's not a 1-to-1, but if your first trailer is 2 hours, or excuse me, 2 minutes and 30 seconds or however long it was, like that really makes me wonder how that runtime is probably going to be pretty thick.
Yeah, especially with it being in the conclusion, I could even see it getting more towards 3 hours. But again, if you're just going based off the book, I wouldn't think that you could get 3 hours out of it. But the way that Denis is adapting it, I could see it touching more towards 3 hours. And you will never hear a complaint out of me. They could make the movie 10 hours long, and I wouldn't even get up for a bathroom break. I'd soil myself first. I wouldn't move. I wouldn't.
With my own ground.
Blink. I wouldn't blink. I'd look like a Clockwork Orange with my eyes just pried open.
Oh my gosh. Well, I gotta go. Somebody's knocking on my door. I appreciate the chat.
Yeah, thanks for thanks for joining us for another episode, or for the first episode. And I don't know how long it's since you've been on here, but it was really nice to have you on.
We'll let the historians figure that out. It was fun. Again, go see Project Hail Mary as soon as you can. Opens up this Friday, March 20th, and preferably IMAX if it's available. If not, the next best thing.
Next best thing. Well, thank you, a founding father of Holy Flick, making a triumphant return. I really enjoyed listening to your thoughts on Project Hail Mary. As somebody who, again, has not seen the movie yet, you definitely have me even more excited for it. And it was fun to play all the games with you and all that stuff. So it's a good
draft was fun. Yeah, that caught me off guard. That makes me at least want to buy a second lottery ticket. I would definitely go watch Project Hail Mary again. So maybe we can link up and go check it out if you've got the time to do so over the coming weeks. So
yeah, I plan to check it out this weekend for sure. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Holy Flick podcast. And until next time, we'll see you at the movies.
Love, peace, chicken grease.